What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 14 OK Chapter 241 Danzo. Listen to my Konoha revival plan? Fire Country, Konoha. Due to the departure of the Uchiha clan, it is natural that Sasuke cannot enter the 10th class like the original. However, this gave Danzo a chance to move Sai into the 7th class ahead of time, to monitor Nine-Tails Jinchuriki while at the same time let Zuo do some exploration work. The date of Chunin's exam is slightly later than in the original book, but the deviation is not big overall, even so it is still a challenge for the 7th class. On a training ground, Kakashi squinted at the three people in front of him. To be honest, the atmosphere in Class 10 is not good now. Haruno Sakura became less active after Sasuke left, and Naruto became more and more silent as he guided him step by step to find the truth, and his personality was slowly changing. As for Sai, although there is a fake smile on his face, the unique gloomy temperament after adding the roots to his body cannot be changed in a short time. So the 10th class now is far less united and friendly than in the original book. The specific situation is just like what I said. The Chunin exam is about to start, and I have already reported your names. You have the right to refuse, and you need to make Konoha face as long as possible in the Chunin exam. Looking at the three of them calmly, Kakashi said. Konoha's situation is worse than expected. It's shameful to say that, after all, as the former #1 Shinobu village, at this moment, I have to force the freshman genin to take the exam. It feels a bit compulsive no matter how you look at it. But Konoha can't help it. Kenpachi's several attacks, and Konoha's guidelines have always been to attack his own people, so this time I was able to find genin who took the Chunin exam. But in order to highlight Konoha's toughness, others had to let other Shinobu villages see Konoha's strength and let them know that Konoha has so many new generations growing up. In the original book, the number of people who took the Chunin exam Konoha was in charge of the crowd, but now, there are very few people coming together. On the one hand, in order to challenge the number of people, on the other hand, Naruto's unstable combat effectiveness is required. Therefore, the choice of taking the Chunin exam becomes mandatory. It's Hokage's command to genin. Although Mrs. Kakashi is the order of Naruto-sama, we have just graduated from the school, in terms of strength. Naruto and Sai didn't say anything, but little Sakura stood up. Just by looking at her embarrassed expression, she knew that she didn't have much confidence in Chunin's exam. I said, you have no room for rebuttal. Taking the exam is mandatory, and you have to perform outstandingly. Kakashi said faintly, but I have my own considerations for your lack of strength. I will make a training plan for you in the next few days before starting the exam. Training? Little Sakura breathed a sigh of relief, and seemed to be able to become stronger with special training. Well, it's Sakura, after all, it's the same in the original book, thinking that he has never been left behind by Sasuke and Naruto. Self-confidence is a good thing, but the self-confidence that can't see the reality is hard to accept, and even triggers opposition. Shippuden's little Sakura has always been a full-fledged character. Although the bloggers have been completely blanked out in the biography, it can't cover up her lack of ability. With Kenpachi's intervention this time, whether the new Sannin can exist is two different things, let alone whether her performance in the future can catch up with the original herself. The matter was over. Sai and Sakura left the training ground, but Naruto still stood still looking at Kakashi. Before coming, he was told by Kakashi that there was still something to do. Kakashi didn't talk nonsense, and pulled away Naruto's long-wearing shirt in an instant. Third generation's request is superfluous. After just watching for a long time, Kakashi touched his chin and finally shook his head. Apart from the 8-sign seal, Naruto has no extra seals, and this 8-sign seal is not a complete seal. It seems that 4th Hokage, his teacher, originally intended to let him use this power out of letting Naruto use this power. Chakra from Nine-Tails. Do you believe in your son? Nodding, Kakashi sighed. The teacher was still so gentle, but it was also the extra gentleness that called him and harmed his son. What's wrong, Mrs. Kakashi? After finishing the clothes, Naruto asked curiously. Over the years, when you refine chakra, when you use chakra, are you always disturbed? Looking at Naruto calmly, Kakashi said. Well, I don't know why, I can't always focus. Naruto nodded, a little distressed. This is indeed the case. He doesn't know how to use the three-body technique taught by the teacher in the school. It's just that every time chakra is transferred, he will always be interrupted. The reason is not clear to him. 07. You know, the open tail in your body should be due to it. Kakashi made a simple analysis. Naruto is not a stranger. With this kid's talent, he shouldn't be the tail of the ninja school crane. This is the reason. When Naruto graduated a while ago, the traitor Mizuki told Naruto about his internal strength. It was also because of that incident that Naruto almost shut himself down. This is not the original work. Because of the Nine-Tails chaos and Hyuga Uchiha's departure, Iruka's original heart awakened a little later, so in the end Mizuki was indeed killed by Naruto, but there was one less person who understood him. So Naruto's personality is a bit autistic, and he understands why the villagers hate him so much. Nine-Tails. Touching his stomach, Naruto has a little anger on his face. Why, he has such a thing in his body. If it weren't for Nine Tails, he would be able to make a lot of friends and he wouldn't be so lonely. Nice expression. Kakashi smiled slightly and looked around, taking a deep breath after making sure that no one had noticed the chakra fluctuations. You know very little about the Nine Tails chaos. And in that matter, it is impossible to transfer all the hatred to you. On the contrary, you should be pitied and taken care of by the villagers. Did you know? The person who sealed Nine Tails is Konoha's fourth Hokage. He is my teacher, and Naruto, you have the same hair color as him. After speaking in one breath, Kakashi pointed to Naruto's belly. About this, Nine Tails knows more in detail. Go get closer, and you will get all the answers you want from your mouth. I don't know if this child will run away after learning the truth. Patting Naruto's head, Kakashi turned and left. It should be interesting if Chunin takes the Nine Tails test. Can Yamato suppress Nine Tails? His wood style can at best build a house. He didn't explain everything to Naruto directly, because Kakashi understood that the more he dug up this kind of thing, he would believe it. Even because the stimulus is great enough, it completely wipes out the light on the body, and hates this piece of soil from then on. As he is now. In short, what he can do, he has done. Next, just observe the changes in Naruto to guide him, and let Naruto know more about the things he made before. Including the real reason why the Uchiha and Hyuga clan left. Let him understand what happened to the land that his father used his life to guard. Everything will come naturally. Konoha's invitation caused a lot of waves in the ninja world. But many people have seen through Sarutobi Hiruzen's thoughts, and they don't have to use genin from their village to give. Konoha brushes prestige. Except for Sand Shinobi Village and Konoha, the other three large-scale shinobi villages did not respond actively. When they inquired that Kenpachi would bring genin to Konoha on behalf of Jienian Village, they immediately changed their minds and even gave Konoha a response that he agreed to go. There's no other reason. Jienian Village is too mysterious. Not only is it mysterious, the strength of that village has long been beyond the Shadow's expectations. Just like 4 years ago, they formed the 5 ninja village allied forces to attack each other, but it turned out that they extremely scared. More than 2,000 coalition forces died on the battlefield without returning. I heard that only Konoha was good at wood. The escaped ninja lingered and fled back with his injuries, but letting him escape back was just a message. No one knew exactly what he said. But their attack clearly angered the lunatics in Jienian Village, and Kenpachi's revenge made them completely understand what is the light of Jienian Village. A village with a dry flash, the price paid is too heavy. So they want to know everything about that village. Chunin exam, this is an opportunity. There have always been rumors about what experiments are going on in Jienian Village. Whatever comes, it will be of great help to future retaliatory actions. This alone is enough for them to come to Konoha to take the Chunin exam. As for Konoha's status because of this Chunin exam? Do not make jokes in front of Jienian Village. What is Konoha, the first ninja village that has completely decayed? They went to see the performance of genins in Jienian Village. When the news came back to Konoha, Sarutobi Hiruzen was in a daze. All plans fail. Jienian Village took the lead in responding to Konoha, saying that he would not miss this Chunin exam and will bring genin from the leading sword-hidden village came to Konoha for sightseeing. When he hadn't been slapped by Jienian Village, Iwagakure Cloud Shinobi Village and Kirigakure also responded to the news. The shadows of the 3 major shinobi villages said that they would bring their younger generations to join him. Good guy, the Chunin exam, originally organized by Konoha and Sand Shinobi Village, has become a rivalry in the entire ninja world. This is totally inconsistent with the plan. Sarutobi squatted on pins and needles in his office. He didn't understand why Jienian Village would come to take this Chunin exam. Don't the people in that village look down on Konoha? As for the other shinobu villages, Sarutobi is not always confused, and understands that they came to see Jienian Village's performance. What about Konoha? He had to face so many enemies when he planned to establish his prestige in meditation. Is it really possible to rely on Uzumaki Naruto alone? At this moment, Sarutobi knew that he was playing off. Good buddy, you seem to be upset. But when Sarutobi was thinking about countermeasures, Danzo pushed in, and his face was a heavy smile. You came to see me making a joke? Sarutobi said coldly. Even if you are upset, this is not the time for infighting. Danzo shook his head. My experiment was successful. Sarutobi, are you interested in listening? My Konoha revival plan? And on the way to Konoha from the major ninja villages, Kenpachi quietly descended on a certain place in the country of fire. In town, the Tsunade Haim is a world-famous woman. Tsunade, granddaughter of Senju Hashirama. As for whether it is a granddaughter or a pro-granddaughter, it has not been verified. Baijing Senju Hashirama once ordered the Senju clan to be integrated into Konoha in order to protect the clan. But there should be a secret inheritance. In a vain attempt to awaken one-day wood style once again Senju rejuvenates. I have to say that Senju Hashirama made some mistakes in his decision-making. The so-called integration into Konoha really makes the Senju clan unparalleled. Look at Uchiha, a big family that was handed down during the Sengoku period. They all inherited it intact. But he, Senju Hashirama, was actually afraid that the Senju clan would be remembered by the enemy and would be annihilated. Haha, extermination is really extermination, but it was not the enemy. First Hokage and second Hokage are both Senju, but they didn't protect their family well. 0.7 and Kenpachi, just want to have a good chat with this Tsunade. There are a lot of people on the short book street. But it is not difficult to find Tsunade. You only need to stay at the entrance of the casino, and you will be able to reach the other side within 3 days. I am addicted to gambling. I heard that this problem was passed down from first Hokage Senju Hashirama. As night fell, Kenpachi and Orochimaru finally met the people they met. Tsunade and Shizune. But when Tsunade saw Orochimaru, he immediately entered a state of combat. Even if she has left Konoha, some news cannot be passed on. For example, Orochimaru defected to Konoha and even became the mainstay of Geanian village. She had heard about it a long time ago. Why are you here? Frowning at Orochimaru, Tsunade's breathing has been adjusted. At this distance, she was sure to hit the opponent's face with a punch. After hearing what she said, Orochimaru did not respond to the other party, but owed her body slightly and said hello. The host is beside him, not when he speaks without permission. I want to see you. Kenpachi took a step forward with a gentle smile. Who are you? What's the matter with this kid's breath? There is always a terrible feeling that he is in control of everything. The instinctive sense of danger made Tsunade retreat involuntarily. Oh, it's not Orochimaru after all, you don't recognize it as normal. Kenpachi nodded politely. Please allow me to introduce myself. Under, Yi Kenpachi, the owner of your former companion Orochimaru. Also the only leader of the Hidden Sword Village. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 242 Tsunade Heim. Are you going to Konoha to see what your brother left behind? Don't think that if you move out of Geanian village, I will be afraid of you. When my old lady was fighting in the ninja world, you were just a kid. In the short book street, near the yakiniku restaurant not far from the casino, Tsunade was eating yakiniku while drinking wine, and looked at Yi Kenpachi with his slanted eyes. Then why would you still accept my invitation and sit across from me? Kenpachi said calmly, typical type with hard mouth but honest body. This kid. Tsunade squinted her eyes. If she hadn't lost all her money and nowhere to eat, would she agree to eat barbecue with this man? Not to mention the rumors that Geanian village has declared war with Konoha. The fact that he is the owner of Orochimaru is enough reason for her to refuse the invitation. It's just a pity that she really has no money. The feeling of being hungry is not good. The barbecue is still fragrant. Just eating, Tsunade couldn't figure out why Kenpachi came to her. It stands to reason that Geanian village and Konoha are in the same water and fire. She, the grandson of first Hokage, doesn't even have a fight when she meets each other. This kind of calm and eating scene can't even be imagined. How can an ordinary woman guess what the owner means? Orochimaru glanced at Tsunade and shook his head slightly. This time the Chunin exam held by Konoha can be said to be the beginning of Geanian village sweeping the world. The experiment of the Uchiha clan has been completed in all directions. After the addition of Senju Hashirama's cell and hollow abilities, the Uchiha clan's Sharingan has been greatly enhanced. Different from the Hyuga clan's physique, the Uchiha clan's ninjutsu is combined with the release of Ryotsu. The ability to destroy the world belongs to a large-scale killing, especially the cell recovery power of the Senju clan, coupled with the virtual high-speed regeneration. The so-called side effects of Sharingan pupil surgery have been greatly alleviated. It can be said that the shortcomings of that family of Wanwahian's pupil power dissipated have been completely wiped out. But according to Lord Kenpachi, Mangekyo is not the culmination of Sharingan, and the real end of those eyes is 10 Rinnegan of Uzumaki Nagato. Orochimaru was truly shocked when he heard the news. And after figuring out Rinnegan's opening conditions, he finally understood what Kenpachi was going to do. Build Rinnegan in bulk. Unfortunately, the experiment ended up stuck in a special chakra that couldn't be integrated. It seems that Senju Hashirama's chakra is somewhat different from Uchiha Madara's chakra. After inquiring, Orochimaru knew that it belonged to the category of Indra and Ashura, and there was no effective means to copy chakra for the time being. Therefore, this time the Uchiha clan's transformation plan was only a fraction of the success. But this small half alone is enough to push the fighting power of that clan to a height that does not belong to him. In other words, the dormant period in Geanian village has completely passed. And the first goal is Konoha. Years of grievances will come to an end in the Chunin exam. Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo also lost the value of living. The stability of Konoha's village does not require them to guard it. This woman is the best choice. Obedient, big breasts and no brains, this is what Kenpachi Sir gave to his former companions. Of course, Orochimaru disagrees with the former's obedient word. It is only right to change to Kenpachi-sama to make Tsunade obedient. So he and Yi Kenpachi came to the short book street. There is only one purpose for coming here. Ji Tsunade joins the rebel camp and kills all quarters in Konoha, and then when everything subsides, she reintegrates Konoha in the name of Senju Hashirama's granddaughter and makes that village a loyal dog of Kenyan village. However, it is not easy to achieve this condition. A few days before he came to Duanshu Street, he followed Master Kenpachi all the time to collect evidence. Now, I have enough confidence, are you finished? The atmosphere was very peaceful, and when Tsunade finally burped and drank the wine in front of him, Kenpachi raised his head and asked. Thank you for the hospitality, but I still said that, if you want me to do something, I am afraid I will be disappointed. Tsunade said calmly. Although she has left Konoha and feels disgusted and tired of the village, she is still Konoha's ninja, the granddaughter of first Hokage Senju Hashirama. Therefore, any cooperation with Geinian village, she will refuse without thinking. She carried the will inherited from Senju Hashirama. Although that will has weakened, it does not mean that she will forget it, and I will not compromise. Even if you are powerless to persecute, finally, Tsunade added to stand up. Whether you eat and just lift your pants and leave. Kenpachi smiled slightly, took a stack of papers from his arms and threw them on the table. I don't like to force others to do things, so people who oppose me in general will die. Of course, this is not a threat, because you are a special case in general, I just hope. You sit down and take a good look at these things, and then decide for yourself whether to come to me. Go to your side. Tsunade sneered, staring intently into Kenpachi's eyes. What is it that gives this man so much confidence? Anyone who has a bit of peanuts won't be so drunk. As Konoha Tsunade Heim, one of the legendary Sannin, how could he help the enemy deal with Konoha? She wants to see what these things are, but when she sat down, opened the file and scanned it up, her face was instantly ugly. In the middle of the Second Ninja War, the Uzumaki clan suffered an extinction, and once sent 3 bullets to Konoha. There was no response to the rescue information. According to the investigation, even the life-saving news was not delivered to Nine-Tails Jinchuriki Uzumaki Mito. It was not until Uzumaki Kushina came to Konoha that Uzumaki Mito was killed. There are 3 problems. 1. Why Konoha blocked the news of the destruction of the Uzumaki family and not let Uzumaki Mito until. 2nd, don't say that Konoha was fighting in the country of rain at that time, and there was no manpower available for rescue, according to the time. Presumably, during the confrontation at that time, Sannin did not fight Hanzo or the Salamander. Konoha had plenty of time to support. Besides, the country of rain and the country of vortex are not far away, and support can be rushed to one day. On the one hand, there is no. What kind of war, on the one hand, is a firm alliance, but Konoha's choice is confusing. Ren. 3. Since the Uzumaki clan's extinction is ignored, why can you be in the end? In the hands of many powerful people in Uzumaki village, it is extremely coincidental to find Uzumaki Kushina and bring it back to the village? For these 3 points, I will give a summary. The calm Kenpachi tapped the desk, facing Tsunade's increasingly gloomy face, and continued to tell his thought, or, Konoha knew in advance that someone was about to attack Wuchao village and made preparations in advance. Either it is, actually Konoha is the one who attacked Wuchao village. Snapped. You fart. When Kenpachi said this, Tsunade slapped the table angrily. At this moment, the hidden physique of her Zuon finally appeared. Unbearable, it is unbearable. The man in front of him who was slanderous even directly placed the blame on Konoha. Pay attention to your attitude, Tsunade. Kenpachi didn't react much, but Orochimaru stood up instantly, rushing towards him with a fierce murderous intent. Tsunade. Cold sweat oozes out of Tsunade's forehead just for a moment, looking at each other in horror. What's going on? Is this the aura of Orochimaru? At this moment, she really realized how far she was from Orochimaru. What did the former companions experience? Not only is he obedient like a dog, his strength has also changed dramatically. At that moment, Tsunade had no doubt that if she did something, Orochimaru would really come out. Hand killed her. No problem. Kenpachi waved his hand for Orochimaru to step back. After Orochimaru hollow, it's even close to the strength to bully Tsunade. It's fair, but proper coercion is fine. Orochimaru is fine. I just said, this is just a guess, and I'm not talking nonsense about spilling dirty water. After a pause, Kenpachi took a sip of the wine gourd. I've been thinking that for the Uzumaki clan, this kind of genocide sounds a bit strange. After all, they are not weak in the Grandmaster Seal technique. This is because Uzumaki Kushina can use King Kong. Blockade suppresses Nine-Tails can tell. As far as I know, Uzumaki Kushina's talent is only in the middle class of the Uzumaki clan. It's just one. The huge chakra and vitality of the adult Uzumaki clan, combined with the unique sealing technique, at the time of life and death, not to mention, just everyone is willing to use the Gould to seal, that is not the enemy can beat. So, their destruction is strange. This is the basis of Kenpachi. Is the Uzumaki family weak? As a descendant of Sage of Six Paths, distant relatives of the Senju clan, how could they be weak? Moreover, the Uzumaki country where the Uzumaki clan is located is not small, and Uzumaki village is also full of elite ninjas, so. The power of being destroyed, it sounds very unexpected, so, I guessed if they were acquaintances, let them put their guard down, and then suddenly launched an attack. Looking around the entire ninja world, it seems that only Konoha has achieved the conditions. The black that is justified and well-founded is the real high-level black. Seeing the slight change in Tsunade's expression, Kenpachi smiled slightly. Of course, this does not directly prove that it was Konoha who attacked the Uzumaki clan. After all, at that time, Konoha's main force is in the country of rain, but because of this, no one can doubt Konoha's body, but this also gives Konoha favorable conditions for combat, which cannot be denied. So, I guess, someone made the Uzumaki clan put down their guard and agitated the others. Shinobu, who did not participate in the Second Ninja World War, shot, like Kirigakure. First negotiate with Kirigakure, and then use some means to let the Uzumaki family put their guard down, but there. In fact, these so-called Konoha people are all pretending to be Kirigakure. When the time comes, they will directly take advantage of the moon and wind. This is the truth of the Uzumaki clan extermination. After speaking in one breath, Kenpachi continued to drink. After a while, Tsunade's mood stabilized, but he smiled disdainfully at Kenpachi. These are all your conjectures and guesses. Suspicion without evidence is a false accusation, don't point you. Hope I can believe you. Of course, I didn't expect you to believe me with my mouth. Kenpachi was still calm and gave Orochimaru a wink. Summoning technique. Impure world reincarnation. No other nonsense, Orochimaru folded his hands together and suddenly a coffin appeared on the ground. In fact, he came here today to do this. You succeeded. This is the forbidden technique developed by the second grandfather. Tsunade's eyes widened in disbelief. The so-called forbidden technique is not that difficult, although second generation is a developer, Orochimaru is not the only one. Said quietly, but Tsunade, this person can give you the evidence you need. As far as I know, he is the person responsible for handling 013 intelligence in the Second Ninja War of Konoha. You also know this person, his name is Yamanaka. Kenjiro. Yes, I remember he died very strangely. Tsunade frowned and said. Because of Orochimaru's actions, the people in the yakiniku restaurant were scared and fled, and no one came to hinder them. Boom. The coffin opens. The people inside walked out stunned. Yamanaka Kenjiro, you should remember the content of the letter for help sent from the Uzumaki clan to Konoha. As an intelligence officer, you don't need to be memorable, but you must remember the main content of each piece of intelligence. This is the basic. Naturally remember, I also died because of this. The controlled impure world reincarnation ninja said stiffly. The Uzumaki clan were attacked, but in addition to asking for help, Konoha is expected to give a statement, which means that Lord Uzumaki Mito can find out why Konoha's people brought their enemies to Uzumaki village. This is probably the content, but when I was about to send information to Mito-sama, I was attacked by the root ninja. This is enough. Impure world reincarnation was suddenly relieved, and Orochimaru looked at Tsunade. I didn't control his spirit just now, you can see that. The cruel truth? Tsunade gave a long sigh with a wry smile. Konoha, what did you do? Then next, turn to the second page. Kenpachi didn't give her time to recover and continued to point to the file. Still got more. Tsunade was taken aback and continued to watch, but when she turned the story, her whole face was completely black. The Senju clan members who integrated into Konoha were dispatched to the battlefield for various reasons during the Second Ninja War. In the end, Konoha no longer had Senju. This is the truth of the fall of the Senju clan. There is not much content on the second page, but it can trigger Tsunade's outrage. Summoning technique. Impure world reincarnation. Kenpachi didn't want to talk nonsense, and directly let Orochimaru summoning out of his former colleagues, people who knew all the secrets. In the end, there is only one conclusion. Konoha, deliberately targeting the Senju clan. Another cruel truth, Tsunade was disappointed and resentful on his face. Konoha, really started on Senju. Is this in a hurry? Please keep turning the page. Kenpachi said calmly, next is the real killer. Just like the root cause of Tsunade's departure from Konoha. The death of Senju Nawaki. Or, why was his internal organs hollowed out, and where are his hollowed internal organs? Slowly standing up, Kenpachi smiled like Shinigami. Tsunade Heim. Would you like to visit Konoha's root laboratory? Things left by your brother. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 243. I'm here to get back the honor and name belonging to Senju. It went smoothly than expected. After coming out of the yakiniku restaurant, Tsunade watched sluggishly and walked into the hotel under Shizun's pull. Orochimaru said with a sigh of relief. On the contrary to you, I feel that everything will be a matter of course. Kenpachi said calmly, he has his own reason to say so. Starting from the analysis of several reasons why Tsunade left Konoha, this trip to Short Book Street will definitely not be lost. First, loved ones have left one after another. If Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobarama were killed, but Tsunade was missing two loved ones, then the death of Uzumaki Mito officially elevated this emptiness to loneliness. In addition, Nawaki's death was the last straw to crush her. According to the Chronicles of Konoha, after Nawaki died, Tsunade's attitude towards third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen changed drastically, from the original respect to the disgust, and it was evidence that he called third generation the old man. The relatives around him died one after another. After Tsunade finished the last heat of the Second Ninja World War for Konoha, he chose to leave completely discouraged. For her, it will be more painful in Konoha, although it is ironic to say that, after all, as the granddaughter of first generation and second generation, it is difficult for her to talk about this kind of thing to others. Over time, it completely became her heart knot. Traveling in the world of ninja, from then on paralyzed himself with alcohol, and has no interest in anything other than gambling. So to change Tsunade's mentality under this premise, killer copper must be used. The truth about the genocide of the Uzumaki clan, where are the people from the Senju clan who integrated into Konoha, plus where did Nawaki's internal organs go? These three blows forced Tsunade to face Konoha and change his attitude towards Konoha. But in the end, Tsunade still did not give a clear answer, and did not have a clear attitude about whether to come to Kenpachi to have a cooperative relationship. But Kenpachi was not in a hurry, because when he mentioned Nawaki, he had already seen Tsunade's head tightly squeezed. Everything is proceeding according to his plan. Master Kenpachi, what I am more worried about is whether our fictional things will be seen through by her. Even though Tsunade looks rough, it's actually very careful. I'm afraid. After hesitating, Orochimaru suddenly said, "Are you referring to the deliberately blacked parts of third generation and Konoha in my file?" Kenpachi smiled slightly and didn't care. You remember that any information that is absolutely true and absolutely false may not be trusted, but information that is 6 points true, 3 points historical and 1 false information will never be suspected. Because the answer we gave only aroused Tsunade's interest in investigating Konoha. When she found everything by herself and found out what the face of the hypocritical village was, she became even more angry. As expected, Lord Kenpachi. In addition to strength, the means are also admirable. Compared with Lord Kenpachi, he is too far apart. Orochimaru bowed respectfully. There is nothing to say about the strength of the man in front of him, but a person who is strong since ancient times does not make people fear from the bottom of his heart. Only those who are online with strength, mind, and resourcefulness are truly terrifying. When such people use you, you will even kneel and kowtow in gratitude. Even if you are facing your parents, your relatives, you will be proud of being able to serve this man. Scary man, no words for a night. The next day, Kenpachi appeared on the first floor of the hotel early and had breakfast with Orochimaru. When the steps sounded, Tsunade's haggard face appeared in front of the two of them. Are you waiting for me? Tsunade looked at Kenpachi with a little unnatural and confused eyes. It stands to reason that the man told. After all she wanted to know, she should be grateful for the appearance of the other party. But when the truth she knew was so cruel, she would rather this man not appear in the short. Seiji, to prevent her from knowing that those things are for reality, she can only choose to accept, but the pain after acceptance is not as good as living in a dream. No, just for breakfast. Kenpachi calmly stuffed the rice ball into his mouth, and took a sip of erguodo by the way. As the leader of Jonyan village, I don't have the time to wait for your answer. And you don't need to value yourself too much, you don't deserve to let me waste too much time. In fact, if I didn't go to the country of fire to pass through the short book street, I never thought that I would have to take you with me. You go to Konoha together. Look at the latest. The only opportunity for you is one night. For me, whether to go or not is just the difference between watching one more scene and watching one less scene. B. The shelf is really big. Tsunade walked to Kenpachi speechlessly, grabbing a bite of the rice ball next to him without the slightest intention. I will go to Konoha to investigate, but it's definitely not what you think. If what you say is true, I will personally find the old man and ask for an explanation. After a long silence, Tsunade said, trust me, the more you investigate, the less you can accept the cruelty of reality. Kenpachi shook his head. The strong woman like Tsunade is actually very fragile inside, and she only needs to use the correct method to guide her. Just as he thought, the trip to Short Book Street was a successful conclusion. When will you leave? The breakfast was about to end, Tsunade asked again. No hurry, I'll be here soon. Drinking quietly, Kenpachi glanced outside the hotel. There, 3 familiar auras are approaching. Who is coming? Frowning, Tsunade felt a little surprised. Is it possible that this kid is really not himself waiting here? Or, his real purpose in coming to Short Book Street is not to find himself, is he really just passing by? Swish, at this moment, 3 figures suddenly appeared in front of the table. Ms. Kenpachi. 3 respectful voices caught Tsunade's gaze, but she was a little upset when she glanced at it. In front of him, kneeling on the ground and saluting were 3 teenage children. To be precise, they were not much younger than Yi Kenpachi, but Yi Kenpachi became their master. Of course, this is not where Tsunade is uncomfortable. 3 children. The girl in the middle and the boy on the left have white pupils in their eye sockets that have proved their identities. They belong to the Hyuga clan. And the boy on the right with a knife slung and a scar on the corner of his eye, he was wearing the service of the Uchiha clan. Uchiha and Hyuga. The 2 great clans of Konoha are now calling the same person as the master. Is it done to explain to you? He beckoned to Hinata and put her on his lap naturally. Kenpachi stroked her chin and asked. Good guys. Not only as master, is there such a relationship? Tsunade sneered at Hinata, the observer blushing. Yes, master, more than 30 genin in Geinian village have been escorted to Konoha, and the mission is completed. Neji said respectfully. Hey, the kid who betrayed Konoha, What kind of escort? You are genin, right? Genin escort genin. Why? Tsunade, who some don't understand, said slightly mockingly. First of all, correct your mistake. Neji looked at Tsunade calmly. The betrayal you mentioned is not true at all. Konoha used the Hyuga clan as bait, and even gave the Hyuga clan to Cloud Shinobi village for killing. If it weren't for the teacher, the Hyuga clan might have been destroyed. If you say that looking for a new life, you have to bear the name of a traitor to the Hyuga clan, then I solemnly declare that you are provoking the Hyuga clan to provoke Genin village. For the rest of my life, I will use the rest of my life to make you kneel down and apologize. What a big tone. Tsunade was furious, but when he was about to attack, he met Kenpachi's eyes next to him. At this moment, she was covered with cold sweat, as if seeing the endless stars could swallow her at any time. Second, the so-called genin is also different. Genin in Genin village is completely different from genin in Konoha, and as a disciple of the teacher, the genin taught by Yi Kenpachi is completely different from others. Don't take escorts. Even if the teacher's order is to kill a jonin or an elite jonin, we will spare our lives to complete it. After speaking, Neji respectfully salutes Kenpachi again. This man is not only his teacher, but also the benefactor of the Hyuga clan, and he is also an object of respect for the entire Hyuga clan's branch house. The reason is that, besides that Kenpachi saved the Hyuga clan, the abolition of caged bird is also the most admirable. According to Lord Kenpachi, the so-called caged bird is useless at all. When facing the critical moment of death, whether it is a clan or a branch house, there is only one identity, that is, the members of the Hyuga clan. It was also when Cloud Shinobi village invaded that Hyuga Hiyashi also understood this, and finally accepted Kenpachi's proposal to completely abolish caged bird. Maybe this is just a small thing for the teacher, but what he did has been thoroughly recognized by the Hyuga clan. From that day on, all the members of the Hyuga clan in Genin village were no longer bound to the clan, but Genin village. Don't look at me, the Uchiha clan is worse than Hyuga. Tough Nihishung was forced to rebel by Konoha. This shame, I must ask third Hokage for an explanation during the Chunin exam. Uchiha Sasuke glanced at Tsunade and said, by you, a kid who doesn't have all the hair. Tsunade said with disdain, yes, but I am not the little Kuboy, but the disciple of the only leader of Genin village, and the hand of the little boy who has no hair in your mouth has been contaminated with 20 Konoha genin and 12 trees. Yi Chunin, 2 dead souls of Konoha jonin. Still remaining calm, but Sasuke's words made Tsunade's hair horrified. Open. What a joke. A little kid with so many Konoha shinobi lives in his hands. Is it bragging? Does not look like. If it is true, this kind of guy takes the Chunin exam. To this day, you are still thinking about Konoha. Seeing through Tsunade's thoughts, Kenpachi said lightly. Even if everything you say is right, it is only Konoha's high-level leaders who are guilty. For example, the old man and Shimura Danzo, and the 2 consultants of Hokage. Guide. At this moment, Tsunade said seriously, even from my perspective, they are the innocent people being used. Innocent? Kenpachi smiled suddenly. Are those Konoha villagers and ninjas who are alone in their lives really innocent? Don't talk about the others. When your predecessors, Hitaki Tsukumo, who is known as Konoha's White Fang, is accused of. Are they really innocent when they blame? Anyone who thinks a little bit more belongs to the weak who are protected, and those who protect them are unfairly. When it comes to treatment, it is so difficult for them to say a fair word. Now, arguing with this man is completely asking for trouble. Well, even if they are innocent, they can be defined in my life creed. Weakness is the original sin. Standing up, Kenpachi stretched, you are not Konoha's, but Tsunade Haim, who belongs to the Senju clan. You can figure it out, but I don't want to hear from your mouth to protect Konoha. Because the people standing in front of you are poor people who have been persecuted by Konoha. Including me. Yes, in that environment, no one can be alone. Yi Kenpachi's incident. Tsunade heard the rumors. Originally, he could become an excellent ninja of Konoha. But because of the old man's suspicion, he completely parted ways with Konoha and took the initiative to subdue Orochimaru. Konoha said we colluded with Orochimaru? Okay. Then the fake drama is really done. Just like the current Genin village. Tsunade asked herself, if Nawaki was suddenly arrested by Anbu's people in the interrogation room when she was out on a mission, and she was even going to use torture, she would not be able to bear it. In fact, what happened to her, Qian Zhao, is harder to accept than this. In the Second Ninja World War, she was desperately on the front line, but her younger brother, who had just graduated, was dispatched to the battlefield. That was the only seedling with pure blood in the Senju clan. He would be dispatched to the battlefield. She didn't understand why until she left Konoha. Tsunade. It was because of this that she was truly disappointed in Sarutobi Hiruzen and left the village. Can't figure it out before, but according to what Kenpachi said, Tsunade suddenly understood. Existence, is it a threat? With a wry smile, Tsunade followed and walked out. Same as before, she wanted to ask Sarutobi Hiruzen for an explanation. If this statement is not satisfied, she will even take the initiative to stand on Yi Kenpachi's side, completely opposed to Konoha's senior management. Facing the rising sun, the group finally hit the road. The Venus star in the distance gradually disappeared, indicating that this trip to Konoha will bring huge changes to the pattern of the ninja world. After one day Fire Country, Konoha, when Kenpachi appeared at the entrance of Konoha village, the nerves of all the ninjas in Konoha were completely tense. The Anbu correspondent in charge of guarding the village immediately notified the third Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. In less than a minute, the old dog rushed to the entrance of Konoha village with a panic. That man, his breath became even more unpredictable. Obviously, in a few years, his progress has not fallen at all. Sarutobi Hiruzen can care, except Yi Bajian and Orochimaru. There is one more person, Tsunade Haim, who used to be Konoha. One of the legendary Sannin. Why are you back? Sarutobi opened the hall startled. Tsunade took a step forward and took a deep breath. I'll get it back, it belongs to Senju's honor and name. That's it. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 244. Ask third Hokage for an explanation. If you can't figure it out at all at this moment, Sarutobi Hiruzen was stunned. The ninjas and civilians around him were also stunned. Get back the honor and name belonging to Senju? What does Tsunade mean? Kenpachi, who was next to him, smiled a little relieved. In the past, first Hokage Senju Hashirama used the name of protecting the blood of the Senju clan as an excuse to integrate the Senju clan into Konoha village. Even with his granddaughter Tsunade, he could not carry Senjus. After all, this is extremely stupid. The reason is also easy to figure out. What is Ninja Village? It is nothing more than the family newspaper group during the Sengoku period to keep warm. When someone was attacked, everyone united to fight back. Then the meaning of Shinobu Village is to protect the family members and protect the things they want to protect. Relatively speaking, although the strength of the Senju clan is very strong, it also needs Ninja Village to provide protection. But Senju Hashirama obviously does not have that confidence. He thinks that the Senju clan has made too many enemies and must do so to ensure the continuation of the Senju clan's bloodline. Just such a deliberation. What is the significance of your establishment of Shinobu Village to the Senju clan? Even the Shinobu Village has no confidence that it can protect the family, so why build Shinobu Village? This is not a fallacy, but a fact in front of you. Konoha was co-founded by Senju and Uchiha, but it's ridiculous that the two Hokage's families disappeared unconsciously. It's just a big joke, and you have a lot of enemies from the Senju clan, but not the Uchiha clan? On the contrary, even in the Sengoku period, the aloof Uchiha clan rarely did such things as uniting other clan to fight together, so the Uchiha clan had more enemies than Senju. But the Uchiha clan was still well preserved in the end. If it weren't for Konoha's conspiracy, it wouldn't be a problem for the clan to continue. In this, it is enough to see that Senju Hashirama, as a leader, is not good in terms of means or vision, except for the approachable temperament and the firm belief in guarding. Well, that man Bai can even send the tail beast that he has finally caught to other ninja village as a threatening weapon, and this behavior is normal. Ashura seems to be very easy to get close to, but what she does can't stand up to scrutiny, even Naruto. Excessive kindness will only lead to destruction of 333. Kenpachi knows this very well. Therefore, there is only one purpose of Geanian village. All those who provoke Geanian village's existence must pay a heavy price. All in all, Tsunade's purpose in returning to Konoha is not only to find the truth, but also to bring back everything about the Senju clan. She wants to tell everyone that the Senju clan is not dead yet. Master Tsunade, what do you mean by taking it? Sarutobi hadn't spoken yet, but the man next to him suddenly spoke. Kenpachi looked intently and suddenly became happy. Sarutobi assumes he is still alive. After thinking about it, Kenpachi suddenly realized. This servant was indeed not in Konoha during the Nine Tails chaos. When Ziping defected, he had already gone to the Land of Fire and became a guardian ninja because of the conflict with third generation. He was known for looking for the jade protected by Konoha. Butterfly should have come back in the past few years. It is estimated that third generation means that he is responsible for leading the new generation of pig and deer trio. From this point of view, we can discover Sarutobi Hiruzen's plan. Ino Shika Cho tribe. They are undoubtedly Sarutobi Hiruzen as a staunch supporter of Naruto. Therefore, it is reasonable for the next generation of Ino Shikacho to have a good relationship with the next generation of Hokage. Yes. Who doesn't want his family to continue? The way to ensure continuity is to become Hokage and let his son take his place. And what Asuma said just now, he also admitted this in disguise. He thought that Tsunade came back this time to compete for the position of 5th Hokage, so he suddenly felt a little nervous. His father has not abdicated for a long time, just to pave the way for himself. After finally waiting until today, he doesn't want to lose everything he is about to get. Ambition is a bit explicit, Sarutobi. Walking calmly to Tsunade's side, Kenpachi suddenly spoke. Sarutobi in the original book is still very vague, but this time it is obviously really anxious. Nothing else, because the entire Sarutobi clan has no other people except his son and Sarutobi Konohamaru. Konohamaru is still young, and he can't wait for Yi to grow up, so he can only let Asuma take over. A brief analysis, Kenpachi has already understood everything this man thinks. This is Konoha's private matter, please don't interfere with Jianying. Asuma thought Kenpachi was calling him, and he was stunned, CFD, to catch up with Kenpachi. Remove his arm. Raising his eyebrows, Kenpachi winked Orochimaru next to him and opened his mouth for the price of an arm. Without any hesitation, Orochimaru rushed to Asuma in an instant. Before he could react, he grabbed Asuma's left arm with one hand and punched his lower abdomen with the other hand. Blow down. Gaba. The severe pain struck, Asuma flew out directly, and at the same time, he could no longer feel the presence of his left arm. Did you tear off your arm hard? The method is really violent? But I don't know why it looks so cool, it's just that this blood-splattered scene. Tsunade's body trembled, and she fell into Kenpachi's arms strangely because of the panic attacks. Your problem, I will treat you later. Frowning, Kenpachi's gaze retracted from Tsunade and looked forward. Orochimaru's sudden attack made Konoha's ninja bring those who came to take the Chunin exam. The ninjas in the other villages were all dumbfounded. As a contestant taking the Chunin exam, I broke the arm of the ninja at home on the first day. The point is, I heard that the kid is still Hokage's son. Yi Kenpachi. Sarutobi Hiruzen, who lifted Asuma up, looked at Kenpachi angrily. Manner. You seem to want an explanation? Kenpachi looked at Sarutobi calmly. Unfortunately, I don't need any reason to do things, it's like annihilation. Like you Sarutobi, just do it if you want, but speaking of it, I was negligent and left a few cubs uncleaned. Turning his head to look at Orochimaru, Kenpachi smiled kindly, let's lose that thing in your hand. Oh, by the way, after the Chunin exam is over, I will kill all the people with the surname Sarutobi. Yes, Kenpachi-sama. Orochimaru nodded, and a dark flame burst out of his palm, which instantly burned Asuma's arm. Clean. Master Kenpachi. At this moment, a line of ninjas in Jienian village's unique martial arts uniforms jogged. Uchiha Fugaku, Uchiha Shisui, Uchiha Itachi, and Hyuga Hiyashi, the patriarch of the Hyuga clan. By the way, there were other ninjas from Jienian village who came to take the Chunin exam. When they knelt down and greeted Kenpachi, everyone was shocked by this scene. Let's go back to your old clan. I remember someone from Konoha once said that he didn't like that place. In that case, whoever lives will not follow Hokage's orders, you have the right to occupy you. We once killed the people from the land. Well, it's just to clear the door for Master Naruto, complete. The party taking the exam has not shown our sincerity, we are invited to participate in Chunin. With a snap of his fingers, Kenpachi officially stepped into Konoha holding Tsunade. There was a bright smile on his face, but what he said was like a frightening demon. This is the real villain, just the kind of chill that makes people forget to breathe. Oh, right. Stopping, Kenpachi looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen, who was holding the unconscious Asuma next to him. I don't like the name Jianying, I will change it next time. Of course, if I'm not satisfied, it's not as simple as an arm. Threat. Naked threat arrogant in other people's ninja village so far, such behavior can be called the first in the ninja world. However, no one dared to stand up for Konoha. Just from Yo Kenpachi's words, you can understand what he is going to do. After the Chunin exam, all people with the surname Sarutobi were killed. It's already clear what he meant, people came to destroy Konoha. If this knot of bones stood up to talk to Konoha, I'm afraid he would take his feet and kill himself. Watching Kenpachi and his group go away, Sarutobi Hiruzen's anger slowly dissipated. After assigning Asuma to Anbu's ninja to go to the hospital for treatment, he walked towards the route step by step. Asuma is dead. If you are still there, you can use medical ninjutsu to connect. But that man, his former disciple, burned Asuma's arm in front of him. At this moment, Sarutobi Hiruzen fully understood the terrible consequences of lack of power. Has Niu Ming entered the countdown? The Chunin exam will eventually become my grave. Maybe it really shouldn't send an invitation letter to Jienian village, but by now, these have no meaning. Just watching Kenpachi's attitude, Sarutobi understands. Even if he doesn't send an invitation to the other party, Kenpachi will still come. How to respond? There is probably only a last resort. Coming. Dim root base. Danzo, who had already heard the news, had already prepared tea for Sarutobi and waited. Sitting opposite each other, two partners who have fought each other for decades look at each other. You know I will come. Picking up the teacup, Sarutobi let out a sigh. So, do you agree with my plan? Danzo is still calm, there is no panic on his face, all this is in the palm of his hand. Sarutobi is extremely suspicious of his control. Is the Konoha revival plan? Up to now, you still don't want to tell me, what is the powerful combat power you rely on? What? Sarutobi frowned. The Konoha revival project. Danzo just told him a brief outline of this plan. The physical details did not explain to him, for example, what method was used, or what method was used to kill Kenpachi at the time, this point. Danzo has always been confidential, and you have to know that this time Konoha is not only an enemy in Jienian village, but in addition, Konoha's 5 great ninja villages are all here. If you can't control the situation for an instant, the situation will be terrible. So, Sarutobi did not agree with Danzo's plan at the beginning. The big risk is one aspect, and even if it succeeds, Danzo really has some killers when the time comes. His position in Naruto might really be handed to Danzo. For him, this is a disaster, if he doesn't resist. No need for heart. He will die, Asuma will die, and the last hope will be cut off. Danzo was very calm. I can't ask for the 5 great shinobu villages to come. This also saves a lot of trouble. A one-time solution? I have to say, this is the closest step to my dream. So Sarutobi, you have to cooperate with me. The main reason for panacemia is psychological effects. It's not difficult if you want to treat. Once the Hyuga clan was in Konoha's clan, Kenpachi said to Tsunade, who was recovering. As he expected, the place where the Hyuga clan used to be has been allocated to other people, and it is now. He was led by Hyuga Hiyashi and threw it out. Well, it's as natural as going back to the palace. Don't worry about it. Tsunade snorted and sat up from the bed. Speaking of it, I was carried back by this man, and I can't stand it even thinking about it. And she thinks she doesn't have any good feelings for this man. Especially the other's rude methods, although it looks so good, but I won't be able to accept it for a while. Woman. Always stiff mouth but honest body. Kenpachi didn't bother to quarrel with her, and beckoned outside. I will introduce you to a person. It is useful and convenient for Konoha research. The footsteps are approaching. Just when Tsunade wanted to refuse, the whole person was completely messed up. Yellow hair. Familiar faces. It's just that his eyes are different from the yellow flashes he once knew. Everything is enough to explain his identity. Namikaze Minato, Konoha's 4th Hokage. Long time no see, Tsunade-sama. At Tsunade's salute, Minato said with emotion. You. Why are you here? No, why are you still alive? Tsunade, with a bewildered face, didn't know what to say. Why are you alive? Probably the same purpose as Tsunade-sama. You want to ask for an explanation for the Senju family. I want to do it for myself, for my own sake. The son, for his dead wife, asks 3rd Hokage for an explanation. Thinking about it, Minato responded. For myself, for my wife, for my son. Tsunade looked at Minato blankly. What happened? Master Tsunade left the village earlier. It's normal not to know what happened. If you are more intuitive, you should understand it if you show it to you. After thinking about it, Minato put out a carton of milk and pointed out the production date. Tsunade opened his mouth in full range. This is Naruto's breakfast. I just went there and replaced it with fresh ones. His eyes were a little dim, and he clenched his fists tightly. Apart from guilt and anger, Minato had no other emotions in his heart. So, I want to ask 3rd Hokage for an explanation. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 245 Naruto. What kind of posture to live in? This time you choose for yourself. Hey, Tsuchikage, what does it mean to call us over without saying anything? Konoha, a relatively high-end lounge area. As representatives of large-scale ninja villages invited to take the Chunin exam, the shadows of the 4 major ninja villages are treated very poorly. But relatively speaking, they think that Konoha is not comfortable with their shinobu village. Seping was affected by the turmoil caused by the arrival of Jienian village. That night, 3rd Tsuchikage Onoki invited several other shadows to come here, intending to discuss the next thing a little bit. 4th Reikage I, 3rd Tsuchikage Onoki 4th Kazekage Luosha. And 5th Mizukage Terumi Mei. It seems that because of Kenpachi's intervention, Kirigakir's liberation was much faster than before, and Terumi Mei's time to take the post was earlier, but the impact was not significant. I'm just thinking whether there is a special meaning for Kenpachi's noise in Konoha village at night. Onogi shook his head and said, what's the meaning? It's nothing more than revisiting the old place and wanting to be more high profile. As soon as I returned to the village, I abolished Hokage's son and put pressure on Konoha. Luo Sha said calmly, but is it necessary for such a person? Onoki frowned. I think his behavior is more of a signal. Even the fuse that triggered the complete conflict between Jienian village and Konoha might be the case. Even now, Jienian village and Konoha are still hostile. I don't think that Sero can ease the relationship between the 2 shinobu villages. As the longest lived among the shadows present, Onogi is good at observing people's hearts. But he still couldn't guess what Kenpachi was going to do. This feeling worried him. Let's put this one out in advance. I think, how to deal with Jienian village in the future is a topic that should be discussed. Reikage patted the table. No matter how Kenpachi clashes with Sarutobi Hiruzen, it is also a matter between him and Konoha, and it has little to do with them. But Jienian village was a heart disease before them. Yes, the development of that village is something we have to face. Terumi Mei also nodded. Although he is not qualified as a Mizukage who has just joined 1000, it does not delay his opinion. In the future, whether to maintain the layout of the 5 ninja villages, or add a Jienian village to come in and become the 6 ninja villages, no one can say this. Rose's eyes flickered, but I really admire Yi Kenpachi. He actually swallowed Tien Kuni as Shinobu village, and made all the countries around Tien and Tien Kuni operate on the basis of Shinobu village. In this way, not only will there be no need to worry about military expenditures, but it can even effectively make changes, so that the master of Jienian village has the sole right to speak. I have to say that this mode of operation is bold. Bold? Oyemu sneered. Why? Feng Ying also wants to learn about Jianian Village's management methods, to steal the position of the name of the Wind Kingdom? Are you sure you can do this kind of upside-down thing? Don't be there for yin and yang. I don't believe Tsuchikage, you don't have the same idea. Luo Sha curled her lips in disdain, but if she is a shadow, she can do what the daimyo does. It's estimated that no matter who it is, she will be excited, right? That is a further expression of power. Don't look at Onoki's righteous words. In fact, he would definitely envy Jianian Village and Yi Kenpachi. Forget it, anyway, use Genin to test Genin's strength in Jianian Village this time. No matter how strong the leader is, if the younger generation can't keep up with the progress, the Shinin village will not be tough for too long. This is the so-called background. I admit that from the perspective of the movie, Yi Kenpachi is an excellent and strong person, but the younger generation is an important factor in determining whether a shinobu village can develop. This is their purpose for taking the Chunin exam. Looking at each other, in the end, this meeting was completely over. But the shadows of the 4 great shinobu villages, and even the Hokage with Konoha, they thought too much. Kenpachi's purpose was not to let the 5 great ninja villages recognize their status from the beginning, so that Jianian village would join the ranks of the 5 great ninja villages and become the 6 great ninja villages. There is only one goal for him, that is Ninja World. The 5 great ninja villages, and many small ninja villages in the ninja world, all gathered in Konoha. This originally strange first ninja village has a lot of anger, but whether it's Konoha, the ninjas of ninja, or the ninjas of other ninja villages, have a feeling of desperation. But these so-called atmospheres can't be felt by people with nerves. For example, Uzumaki Naruto, who was preparing for the exam. At this time, he was at the entrance of the village and the guests from the Kingdom of Wind, and the 3 giants of Sand Shinobi in the future confronted each other. Kankuro's attitude is the same as the original, as arrogant as ever. But when he was about to do it, Gaara had already taken Temari away, and Seping didn't call it at all. People take it seriously. Looking at Naruto's back, Naruto's mood is a little complicated. He can clearly feel that the man seems to be somewhat similar to himself, but he cannot feel specific. Know what? When he returned home alone, Naruto sat cross-legged on the bed and closed his eyes. These days he has been trying to communicate with the monsters in his body, and the reason is naturally that he cares about what Kakashi does. The words said, the things in his body know his own life experience. And he knows what happened to his body, even his parents were caught by this monster. Killed. 9 tails, sinking down, he appeared in the passage where the long-sealed space was located. Darkness, tyranny, all kinds of negative emotions extend to him from a certain position. A ray of light in front slowly approached. Roar. A loud roar suddenly spread, and Naruto sat down on the ground and raised his head. In front of him, the 2-eyed boss of 9 tails who was sealed. Is this the monster in me? Naruto took a deep breath and tried to calm down. Unlike being forced to come to this sealed place, this time, he came here by relying on his own consciousness. And want to take the initiative to communicate with 9 tails. Although she was taken aback, she was also psychologically prepared, which was not unacceptable. Are you 9 tails? After calming down, Naruto asked cautiously. Roar. The only response to him was another roar from 9 tails. Yellow-hair Uzumaki family, that man's child. This kid has found himself on his own initiative. But he could clearly feel that he was not trying to gain the power of hatred, this guy actually hit. Communicate with yourself. What a joke. I can only shout in a cage, is there no real threat? It seems that Mr. Kakashi is right. It's a pity that 9 tails screamed wildly, but Naruto felt more at ease. Before coming, Mr. Kakashi had talked about the seal. As long as Seping doesn't untie the piece of paper, 9 tails can't threaten him anyway. Touching his chin, Naruto took a deep breath and looked at the object in front of him. Hey, 9 tails. You have lived in my body for more than 10 years, shouldn't you pay some rent or something? Rent? The pupils of 9 tails shrank, and the anger continued to grow. I was yelled by a kid. What a shame, but what does he mean by rent? Chakra. Borrowing from my uncle's chakra, this seal will be. Can you tell me about my parents? Unfortunately, to 9 tails' surprise, this kid didn't come to ask for chakra. Your parents? What do you want to know? Suddenly sat up, 9 tails stared at Naruto, for example, how they created you. I don't know anything else, but your father obviously drank 2 more glasses that day, and then it was better than the usual 3 seconds. He actually persisted for 5 seconds under your mother's attack, so there is you. Does the yellow flash? Well, after all, it was the first speed ninja after the death of second Hokage Senju Tobirama. Is required. What do you mean? Naruto was dumbfounded. He was pure and didn't know what the extra 2 seconds meant. Why can he be created in 2 more seconds? You kid, do you want to know the details? 9 tails squinted her eyes. It's just a teenager. Why is GHS so handy? Do you want to see that too? Obviously, Naruto and 9 tails are not on the same channel, so when 9 tails asks details. Later, Naruto nodded in agreement. You deserve it. Naruto has been an observer. Nine Tails, who knows everything he has experienced since childhood, has been watching Naruto for a long time. Obviously there is something wrong with this kid's way of thinking, and he is so obsessed with his parents. You can use it, it's okay to show you, but it's not easy to do this step. My uncle's mind is indeed. There is a picture, but if you want to see the picture, you first need to connect to chakra. Going out with a smile of conspiracy, the tail naturally directed chakra to the door of the 8-sign seal. Flow away. Connect to chakra? Naruto was a little excited and ordered something. No matter what his process is and what the result is, he only knows that he is so close to the truth. Who are my parents? When the red chakra surrounds Naruto, two figures finally appeared in his mind, one man and one woman. But obviously it is not in the implementation of the Naruto manufacturing plan, just sitting at the dining table and eating. The man with blonde hair looks extremely handsome, while the woman opposite him has red hair. Look. He was a little sturdy and said something. No, why does this man look so familiar? Naruto asked startledly. This is your father, can you not be familiar with it? Nine Tails' chakra is stagnant, apparently it is a little confused by Naruto's brain circuit. Your dad, can you be unfamiliar? Where have I seen it? And I must have seen it more than once. Yellow hair. Touching his head, Naruto's emotions gradually got out of control. Picture after picture in my mind finally determined a position. Naruto. There are also portraits in the Hokage office. My father is Hokage. Konoha's fourth Hokage, he saved the hero of the village. He is my father. At this moment, Naruto was completely stunned. Recalling what Kakashi once said, he was finally convinced of one thing. Your father is the hero who saved the village, but for some reason, I can't tell you directly. Who is he? Seeing you were born, even when you were still in your mother's belly, I was your mother's guard. These are the original words of Kakashi. In accordance with the enchanting atmosphere that the two of them who had finished eating were slowly looking at each other in their minds, tears suddenly fell from the corner of Naruto's eyes. My father, it's Hokage, is the hero who saved the village. I am the son of a hero, but why? No one told me about it. Why no one told him about his father's heroic deeds? Why? Those villagers have to look at themselves with the eyes of monsters. Complex emotions collided fiercely in his mind, and Naruto, unable to digest this fact in a short time, finally sat down on the ground, letting Nine Tails' chakra crazily erode his body. And the picture in his mind is about to enter a critical moment. Pity. When the woman in the picture had walked to the bedroom, a yellow-haired man suddenly appeared next to Naruto. Later. The consequences are disastrous. Wiping the sweat from his forehead, Minato breathed a sigh of relief. Of course, these chakras were later supplemented by the living Minato when Naruto slept. I also understand how my son has been treated, and know what happened to Konoha, so at this moment Minato says it's a clone of the body. Now he is a little scared. It's not all because if Nine Tails continues to erode his son, there is another reason. The picture just now is going on, and his title of Yellow Flash deserves his name. Too fast is not good, but, Naruto holding his son, Minato sighed faintly. Naruto found the answer on his own. Just now, he felt the emotion of his son being in harmony with Nine Tails. That kind of emotion is called anger, yes. It is clearly a hero's child, and everything that can be suffered is completely different from the hero's child. From small to large, everything he has experienced has made people feel more angry. The culprit is third generation. What should I do? Having already taken Naruto to leave Nine Tails to bring spiritual space, Minato gave a wry smile when looking at the dull-looking son in front of him. Forcibly arranging the path of his own son, and saying that he believes in his own child, such a father is not qualified. Master Kenpachi is right. Everyone has the right to choose their own path, so does Naruto. The Konoha that my father used his life to protect, but now he finds that it is not worth protecting at all, so there is no need to use love to influence. Touching Naruto's head, Minato released a sunny smile and nodded deeply in Naruto's tearful eyes. Naruto, how do you do it this time? Your own life, you choose yourself. No matter what the outcome is, as your father, I will always love you. Same as your mother. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 246 Kill the Son of Prophecy with your own hands and give him new light. Let Naruto choose his own path. It seems that you have also become a lot smarter, a bit similar to Itachi after awakening. Konoha, on the Naruto rock. Kenpachi stands with his hands behind him, and behind him is Namikaze Minato with a cloak. The chakra in Naruto's body has disappeared, and Minato naturally sensed everything about his son's hair. To be honest, at the moment when Nine Tails was sealed, he believed in his own children to leave chakra just in case, and wanted Naruto to change the world and change this ninja village. So with the 8-sign seal, which can mobilize the tail chakra, Naruto will carry everything on his back and change everything. But Minato suddenly discovered that after his death, nothing had developed as he imagined. It is obvious that his parents have guarded the village with their lives, but the unfair treatment suffered by Naruto makes Minato, who is a father, extremely angry. After seeing the environment suffered by his son, Minato was completely awakened. This village is rotten to its bones. If you want to change, you must not tolerate it with love alone. It is complete destruction and the establishment of a new system. Under the premise, it is unfair to force his son to influence Konoha with love. There is no need for his own child to bear the heavy burden, he has the right to choose his own way of living. Speaking of it, sealing 9 tails into Naruto's body is already very irresponsible, he thought about it. Maybe Naruto had a hard childhood but still did it because he believed in his son? But Kenpachi once taught him a word, don't do to others what you don't want. If you can't do it yourself, why do you insist on 80 to ask others to do it? I didn't give him a good childhood, it was my father's dereliction of duty. I saw the essence of Konoha. After that, I want to do my best to supplement Naruto. As for what the village will end up with, it has nothing to do with me. Taking a deep breath, Minato felt a sense of relief. Finally it came out. To be honest, looking at him and Kushina, they have done ultimate for Konoha. What's the use of the title of hero in exchange for life? I'm so relieved that you think so, it's pretty good. Kenpachi nodded. He is really worthless for Minato. Even without his own existence, Konoha in the original book is still weak, the same one now. At the time, Konoha, who was originally extremely strong, almost fell on Orochimaru's Konoha collapse plan. Are you sure that is the first ninja village? The king rank left by Senju Hashirama was forced back to bronze by Sarutobi. So no matter what he does, the decline of this village is an inevitable result. The only difference is that Konoha and the Hyuga clan in the original work are relatively strong, but the result of being strong is. For Konoha's safety, he gave the life of Hyuga Hiyoshi's younger brother. But Master Kenpachi, it may be because I was transformed by your hollow ability. For the soul. There is a keen awareness, so when my chakra is in Naruto's spiritual space, I always feel that there is a powerful soul power controlling Naruto's thinking. After thinking about it, Minato said. This is the main reason why he found Kenpachi. My son's change, maybe that was originally the result that Kenpachi-sama had expected, so in. Mr. Kenpachi did not seem to be surprised. What really puzzled him was the strange soul energy. The strange energy that can control the way of thinking of his own son. Finally noticed. Kenpachi turned his head and glanced at Minato. Shu and Shinigami, to put it bluntly, use the power of the soul to fight, so for the soul. It's extremely keen, and the soul that Minato said affects Naruto's way of thinking, I am afraid only Ashura. Ashura and Indra, 2 sons of Sage of 6 Paths. 6 Paths, which was once eccentric, has more power assigned to Ashura than Indra. This is 6 Paths' own mouth. Admittedly, only in this life, he evenly gave equal power to the two. But this is not the point. Kenpachi has always been skeptical. Like what Naruto said, Ashura or something Naruto doesn't know, he's just Naruto. Is this really the case? Is Naruto really just himself? Sage of 6 Paths met Indra before he died and told Ashura that Indra would let himself. Of the soul is reincarnated. Soul reincarnation. Doesn't it mean that someone's body does something through the night? The fate of Ashura and Indra is to fight. It's just that the power given by this generation has been evened out and soothes Indra's soul, so the fight is stopped. Can it be understood this way? So new problems emerge? No matter how you look at it, Sasuke and Naruto are so similar to Indra and Ashura. This is true whether it is character, doing things, or thinking, so, are they really still themselves? Regardless of Sasuke, Kenpachi will also have this kind of doubt when it comes to Naruto alone. Because from the perspective of a normal person in normal thinking, no one should be able to forgive the enemy who killed your parents, right? A living example is Obito. In the 4th Ninja World War, Naruto learned that Obito was very similar to him once, and even thought of becoming. Naruto is the target. So it was so hard to enter Obito's spiritual world during the fight. To influence Obito with your love, what's even more disgusting is that he actually succeeded. Kenpachi doesn't bother to vomit, but if Obito's blackened consciousness is so weak, it's fine. Human, at that time, the ninja allied forces died and there were probably tens of thousands. Even Neji was killed by Obito because Obito once wanted to be Naruto, so you chose to forgive him? Are you worthy? Do you deserve to forgive him? How do you explain to the families of those deceased? Not to mention others, Hinata is Neji's younger sister. I don't even feel thousands of them when I see Hinata Naruto every day. What guilt? In the end, he didn't seem to avenge Neji. Obito is very outrageous here. Naruto has done an operation that a normal person can never do. But this is not the most outrageous, even more unacceptable. I am afraid that Pen attacked Konoha. At that time, Naruto chose to forgive Nagato's actions on the spot. You know, Naruto at that time didn't know the revolving heaven technique at all. What he knew was Ka. Kasi, Jiraiya, his teachers and benefactors were killed by Nagato. Then Naruto still chose to forgive Nagato. Just because this man is his senior, someone who was once placed high hopes by Jiraiya. This reason. Still the same sentence, Naruto didn't know the revolving heaven Niu technique at all, that is to say, he was ready. In order to accept the death of the villagers, the Konoha shinobi still chose to forgive. What a great mentality. This way of thinking that normal people can't afford is simply ridiculous. This is beyond the scope of the mouth. Even someone like Naruto who has experienced pain since childhood and understands how important his family is, actually. However, I forgave Nagato weirdly. It would be impossible if there were no problems. Forgiveness is simple, but it is still a problem if you face the families of those deceased. Although the final result was good, Naruto became Konoha's hero, and the revolving heaven technique was resurrected. A lot of people, but the problems inside must not be ignored. Naruto, is it Naruto or Ashura? And now, the answer seems to have been revealed. Even Minato, who was later evolved into a virtual reality, felt the same on Naruto's soul, the sword. How can you not feel it? Ashura has been entangled with Indra's chakra for thousands of years, but it has also influenced the thinking of countless reincarnated people. This is the truth. Orochimaru has already told you about the Ōtsutsuki family, right? Taking a deep breath, Kenpachi said. Well, Ōtsutsuki Kagaya, the ancestor of chakra, the goddess of Mao. Minato nodded. To be honest, he was shocked when he heard it just now, but he can only explain it this way. It makes sense to explain why there is chakra, which is not too surprising. She was sealed by her two sons, Ōtsutsuki Hamura, the ancestor of the Hyuga clan. And sage of 6 paths, named Ōtsutsuki Hagoromo, is the founder of Ninzang. He also has two sons, one named Ashura and the other named Indra. The two brothers started a dispute thousands of years ago. Even if they died, they had to reincarnate their souls. Some reincarnated people, Ashura is overly kind, believing that people can understand each other and achieve peace, while Indra only believes in his own power. Now, Naruto you see is the reincarnation of Ashura and Sasuke is the reincarnation of Indra. But unlike Naruto, I have completely wiped out Indra's will. Sasuke is only Sasuke. Although I absorbed Indra's chakra, the soul has completely belonged to himself. After a pause, Kenpachi beckoned, and summoning produced his black Zanpakuto. Zanpakuto belonging to Shinigami. With it, Ashura, the son of prophecy in Jiraiya's mouth, can be completely killed. Son of prophecy? It turned out to be Ashura. Minato gave a wry smile. It turns out that the person who saved the ninja world the Toad Sage said was an alien. Son of offspring. If Jiraiya teacher knows this truth, I am afraid I will be disappointed. Taking Zanpakuto, Minato sighed and turned away. The truth is really cruel. Ninja world, this place where human beings live, it turned out to be saved by aliens in the end. When will the future of mankind be influenced by those things? It's really ironic, but everything also makes sense. Minato himself knows what Naruto has gone through over the years. If he is a normal person, I'm afraid. There is not much resentment in my heart, and I will never try to make friends like this endlessly. Choosing to believe in this village is even more a joke. Let me, the trash that put the shackles on my son in the first place, is taking the shackles off you. Bar. That night. Naruto's home. After learning about his life experience and having a chat with his father, he fell into an endless tangled. Father let him choose his own way of living. It's still working hard for Konoha, to tolerate everything with his love, and to bring all the darkness to himself. Carrying and forgetting, will be the ultimate in retribution with virtue. Aim to become Hokage or live for yourself from now on. Live for the people you want to protect, re-experience this. The beauty of the world, easy to be a ninja. These two concepts clashed wildly in Naruto's heart. But whenever he wanted to let go of everything in relief, there was always a voice to tell him. Forbearance again, for a while, then become stronger, protect this village from becoming Naruto, and get everything. Someone agrees. Gee, so I look forward to the latter's lifestyle very much. No one is perfect, this is the truth. When Naruto went to the real waterfall and wiped out part of his dark side, he was no longer a complete person. Everyone has negative emotions, and proper expression is the evidence of a healthy life. If you insist on being wiped out, will you still be your true self afterwards? Footsteps approaching just when Naruto was confused. A knife penetrated his chest. The visitor wore a cloak and couldn't see his face, but the familiar feeling on his body made Naruto feel more cordial. The knife penetrated his chest, but he couldn't feel the pain. There is only the endless love in my heart for the unobtainable affection of the parents. He is a little tired, finally fell on the bed and fell asleep. Starting tomorrow, he will walk his own complete life again. Withdrawing Zanpakuto, Minato sat on the bedside with a sigh of relief, stroking his son's hair. 0.2 Stabbing his son with a knife is still stressful, but he did not doubt what Kenpachi said, because it was unnecessary. Strong to that level, there is no need to use conspiracy and tricks to face everything. So if Kenpachi wants to count Naruto, wants to kill him, even 100 can't stop him. He didn't need to lie to himself. Facts have proved that this knife did completely wipe out Ashura's soul, but Ashura's huge chakra is still stored in his son's body. Bailey is harmless. Ms. Jiraiya, the son of destiny in your mouth has been completely killed by me. That kind of virgin, anyone can do it, but I don't want Naruto to bear this. Kill the son of prophecy with your own hands. Just like Kenpachi-sama said, things about the ninja world and human affairs do not require outsiders to interfere. I don't think I did something wrong. Kushina, if it were you, would you support me? As if feeling the slight fluctuations in Naruto's chakra stored by Kushina, Minato suddenly smiled. Finally, we can live for ourselves. Creak. While Minato was enjoying time with his son, the window of Naruto's house was suddenly opened, and Tsunade looked over impatiently. Hey, it's time. I went and glanced at the laboratory at the root. I really can't get in without your flying thunder god. Minato nodded and stood up and looked at him. Master Tsunade, the truth that belongs to me is cruel, but after all I survived it. But the cruelty that belongs to you has just begun, you have to be mentally prepared. Let's go and see how dark Konoha's roots are. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 247 The New Order, the only king in the ninja world. Do you plan to bring Madara-sama back to life in this manner? Konoha, the base of the root. Just before the arrival of Tsunade and Namikaze Minato, with the surging of space Uzumaki, the two figures slowly left. On the Hokage rock that was still Konoha, Obito looked at everything below, and then at the scroll with the forbidden technique in his hand, lost in thought. Black Zetsu was silent for a while, and finally raised his own question. Does the dirty soil turn? It is completely different from the planned round of revolving heaven bull. If I can, I don't want to be like this. After closing the scroll, Obito took a deep breath. And I feel that this resurrecting Madara is even stronger than his previous peak combat effectiveness. According to Danzo's experimental records, adding a corpse to Senju Hashirama's cells can greatly enhance the binding force while also granting new power. What this said, it's as if you've seen Uchiha Madara's combat effectiveness in its heyday. Black Zetsu has disdain in his eyes Senju Hashirama's cell? Even if Madara turns like a young man, she will definitely not have the high combat effectiveness after the round of revolving heaven. The reason is very simple. The inferior products that are turned into dirty soil are absolutely unable to manipulate all of Rinnegan's abilities. But what Obito said is fine. Right now, this is the best way to control the situation. Obito uses resources and a large number of experimental subjects as a bargaining chip, and cooperates with Danzo to develop and strengthen the dirty soil left by Orochimaru, and the reward is the forbidden technique that both parties have together to control the world. And the Chunin exam was the final strength of the combination of Obito and Danzo. However, Madara-sama would be very angry if the dirty soil is turned into a cow. Sighing, Black Zetsu shook his head. Do I have other options? The Akatsuki organization has completely changed its taste now. Nagato kept silent about collecting the tail beasts. Although he still believed me in his behavior, he couldn't hide his suspicion in his eyes. In other words, I have lost my position in Akatsuki, and I have also lost control of Nagato. And if you snatch Rinnegan hard, I may not be able to beat Nagato. There must be a strong person to stand up and integrate everything. Madara is the only candidate. Coupled with the knight Kenpachi in Geanian village, his 15 power continues to grow, let him continue to develop. Saying Project Tsuki no Mi, the entire ninja world will probably be controlled by him. Squinting his eyes, Obito squeezed his fist, his anger no longer concealed. He hates the man who is at the forefront of everything. Knight Kenpachi. The man's ambitions have been revealed. If speaking of strength, he could have killed Konoha long ago, but he still took his hand down to take the Chunin exam. The purpose is very clear, the other party must want to achieve certain conditions in this special period, and then one. To swallow the entire ninja world. What a lunatic, does he want to be the master of this world? If you really make him successful, Moon Eye, Infinite Tsukuyomi, he has always believed in the dream to implement. Also completely destroyed, Yi Kenpachi is doing things that Madara didn't succeed. That is, use force to coerce to achieve absolute unity. Grabbing Black Zetsu, Obito launched Kamui to disappear on Naruto and unify, bringing peace and stability. But Obito, what he pursued from the beginning was not the so-called peace, he just wanted to create a Lin's world, but it's not to resurrect Lin, nor is it the ultimate goal for Lin to live in this world. It should be to create a world where Lin likes him. Looking at Obito's people, maybe Lin never liked him at all, so it is calculated that he later had Rinnegan and other resurrection methods, and he did not have the courage to resurrect Lin to ask her personally who she liked. The terrible Konoha triangle love classification system, this is the root of all evil, one class, two men. A woman, working together and living together, will always have a relationship. The original intention of third generation was to compete while forming fetters, but he forgot how strong a man's jealousy was. Obito, he has the consciousness to fight against the whole world for one person, but in the end he had to lose to Naruto. With her mouth hidden, she can only fill Lin in her mind for the picture that has been waiting for him, how sad. In fact, to some extent, I am also Genin. As night fell, Kenpachi sat in his former home, his head still resting on Enko's lap. Knee pillow, but what was said in his mouth was obviously not human. Do you want to point your face? Enko hadn't spoken yet, but Kurenai Yuhi, who had an excellent relationship with Enko, suddenly spoke. Hearing that her best friend returned to the village, Enko didn't think that she would get in touch with the people in Geanian village. What kind of consequences came, directly to find the other party? When good friends meet, it will always be cold for a while, but now the red eyes are full of complex emotions. She is Konoha Shinobi, and her best friend and best friend's younger brother are Konoha's enemies. This feeling is uncomfortable. but she didn't want the dispute between Konoha and Genin village to affect her relationship with Anko. I am indeed Genin. Kenpachi calmly took out Konoha's forehead protector from his suspicion, although it had scratches of rebelliousness. But his identity is still Genin and cannot be changed. Of course, he didn't have the mind to take the Chunin exam and pretended to be coerced with a group of children who hadn't grown up. Red, why don't you come to Genin village with us after this exam is over? Seeing through what Red was struggling with, Anko grabbed the opponent's hand and said, Go to Genin village. Kurenai Yuhi was in a daze, but he didn't recover. This, are you making her a betrayal? Don't worry, there is Kenpachi, no one dares to do anything to you. Feeling his friend's move, Anko continued to cheer up, and then suddenly leaned into Hong's ear and whispered, Come on, the confidant beside this kid more and more, my brother is still here. Don't refuse, basically if people dare to send it, he dares to accept it. So if you don't work hard, I'm afraid the chance will get smaller and smaller. Where does this go? Kurenai Yuhi took a few steps back with a pretty face. This is too blatant, and what does my girlfriend mean to collect a few? Is it possible? Suddenly remembered my courage to come here without hesitation. Seping also remembered how this young boy rushed towards Anbu a few years ago. Give her great courage. She admitted that since that day, the figure of this man has been printed in her mind. Even when Asuma came back to pursue her, it only made her hate the other person smoking more and more, but she said that she had been looking for the so-called symbol of jade personally. This made Hong very disgusted, and it was a few years ago. Her heart has long belonged to Yi Kenpachi, and to other people. Not interested. What makes Red most concerned is actually these 3 times of devastating attacks from Yi Kenpachi. Of course, you can bypass her weirdly, no matter where she is, the terrifying black and red light will pass by. So, she came and she wanted to know if it was intentional or unintentional. Genin village, or Konoha, you don't need to be entangled. Kenpachi breathed a little dully. Do you think I brought people to Konoha for the Chunin exam? If it were to simply destroy Konoha, it would be enough to send Orochimaru. Destroy Konoha, said so lightly. The whole ninja world can say this, only Kenpachi. Red smiled bitterly. But in that case, why did the other party come to Konoha? When I come, the shadows of the 5 ninja villages will also come. They want to take this opportunity to observe the future combat power of Genin village, but they didn't know what I meant was to let them come to Konoha together and save me one by one. To find 5 countries, the 5 big ninja village pattern has been going on for too long, and their disputes have caused countless hatreds. What I want to do is to break this pattern and establish only one ninja village, the only village in one country. One system. And I, the maker of the system. After speaking in one breath, Kenpachi sighed and looked extremely cool, without knowing what he had said. Kurenai Yuhi was shocked. The only institution. This means it's more explicit than just one collection. He wants to be the only king in the ninja world. Such courage is moving. A man with such a great goal is even more exciting. If everything goes on like this man thinks, then the rank of the whole world. The order will change. Genin village and Konoha will no longer be opposed, and she doesn't have to think about her identity. Before Kurenai Yuhi could say something, 2 figures suddenly appeared in the courtyard. One of them is a mysterious man with a cloak, and the other is the Tsunade seen during the day. Let go of me. At this moment, Tsunade's eyes were bloodshot, and he looked like a tigress, trying to break away from her. Namikaze Minato. Unfortunately, the Minato power strengthened by Hollow is not comparable to Tsunade. Is the truth too cruel? Kenpachi didn't bother to ask and knew what was going on. What good things can there be in the root base? I guess I saw something unacceptable. For example, the experiment of Senju Hashirama cells was successful, and the record of Nawaki's internal organs. Well, for Tsunade-sama, it is indeed cruel. Minato sighed, but the next moment his eyes looked solemnly at Kenpachi. Kenpachi-sama, the subordinate has something important to report. Unnaturally glanced at the red next to Kenpachi. Minato obviously felt that something was in front of Konoha Shinobi. The interviewer's face is not very good, speak straight. Kenpachi didn't mind. The best way to control a woman is to take her body and mind away. Don't worry about your body, but focus on your heart. Red's series of reactions Kenpachi knows very well, so there is no such thing as leaks. And for Kenpachi, there are no secrets in this world at all, and he is not afraid of anything. West will be known, Konoha is carrying out a secret human experiment with the Senju Hashirama cells he cultivated. The subordinate glanced at the test record, and it seemed that he was able to resurrect the dead and be able to fight when he was restrained. Deshu ideographic period. The technique. Impure world reincarnation. Master Kenpachi said that it was okay, and Minato came out without any comments. Human experiment. And the goal of the experiment is impure world reincarnation. This should be more important news for Genin village and Yi Kenpachi. But Kenpachi's expression disappointed Minato. From start to finish, Kenpachi was not surprised or surprised. Even, anything else? Kenpachi showed a curious look. Obviously, he didn't think that turning the filthy soil into a cow is anything. Lord Kenpachi, you may not know what the turning of the filthy soil means. It is a technique that can resurrect the dead, and even resurrect it according to the Book of the Seal. The dead people who come out can be restored even if they are destroyed. Come back. Who do you think perfected the inferior impure world reincarnation developed by second generation? At this moment, Orochimaru's figure appeared behind everyone. As early as Danzo noticed the laboratory that had been discarded in Sha 310, Sha had already told Master Kenpachi about it. So, walking step by step in front of Minato, Tsunade and others, Orochimaru respectfully walked towards Kenpachi. So, whether it is Konoha's human experiment, the experiment of using Senju Hashirama's cells to enhance the transfer of dirty soil to sacrifices, or what Konoha will do in the future, Mr. Kenpachi knows. Naturally, no matter what Konoha does in this Chunin exam, there is only one failure waiting for them. Admire. This is Orochimaru's heartfelt admiration for Kenpachi. It seems to suppress everything with force, but the inner delicacy and the calmness of strategizing make people have to admire. Konoha is an enemy of such a man. To put it bluntly, they have already lost. But Orochimaru-sama, I don't understand one thing. Even if we know this, how do we deal with the undead and undesirable transmutation body? Frowning, Minato asked his own question. Yes. The tricky part of impure world reincarnation is the characteristics of the infinite chakra and the physique that can be heavy even if it is broken into pieces. According to legend, only the use of sealing technique can be effectively restrained. Minato-kun, have you forgotten that we accept the power of Lord Kenpachi's son? What's so special? Orochimaru waved his hand calmly. I know impure world reincarnation better than you, and I know what impure life means better than you. To put it bluntly, I am perfect. Tu Juan. But do you know why I abandoned that thing so easily? The dirty soil is very strong. But why Orochimaru would abandon the study of dirty soil, this Minato obviously doesn't know. That's after Kenpachi-sama gave me new power. The energy from the soul can even destroy the soul. The essence of impure world reincarnation is to pull the soul body in the pure land into reality to fight. In other words, our Ryotsu is the natural nemesis of the impure to turn cattle. Even the body of impure world reincarnation that was destroyed by us is the one that is dead in the true sense and cannot be resurrected by any means. With a confident smile, Orochimaru's hands glowed with black and red. He is imaginary. Father of the soul. Finally, talk about you, Tsunade. Suddenly looking at the angry woman, Orochimaru sighed. It hurts so much, why bother? You just want to find Sarutobi theory, but do you really think he doesn't know about human experiments? Stop kidding, Tsunade. It was our teacher who asked me to experiment with Senju Hashirama cells in the first place. Sarutobi Hiruzen. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 248 Danzo. Konoha Revival Plan, Start. The atmosphere suddenly fell silent. Tsunade also gave up struggling. Indeed, now even if she rushes to the Hokage office to find Sarutobi's theory, what can she change? Orochimaru said very clearly. The first thing about human experiments was carried out with the approval of third generation, and the responsible persons were Orochimaru and Danzo. But this is actually a human experiment. The first study was Senju Tobirama's second Hokage. But soon he discovered that no one could bear Wood-Styles' effort to give up, but was picked up again later. This is the fact before us. And now, what Konoha is going to do is clearly revealed. When they want to use Chunin for exams, use impure world reincarnation to control the situation. It is not difficult to guess, but who they are going to resurrect is still unknown. Just speculating about Tsunade but found a terrible fact. Perhaps, there is only one person who can help Konoha. Senju Hashirama. The atmosphere in the yard became strange. But the most daunting one is obviously Kurenai Yuhi. When Orochimaru took a bite of Minato-kun, and the man with the cloak took off the cat, her familiar face shocked her extremely. Fourth generation is not dead. Where has he been all these years? Also, why does he call Yi Kenpachi as Lord Kenpachi? Other than that, what were they talking about just now? Konoha wants to use the dead for the final struggle? A series of problems prevented Kurenai Yuhi's head from turning. I'll go out. After a while, Tsunade took a deep breath and said. Master Tsunade, I just said that you won't get any results even if you look for the third generation theory. Minato frowned and asked. Don't worry, I already know who he is. Talking to him is just a waste of tongue. But I have to charge some interest. He moved his grandfather's body, so I turned his son into a fist ahead of time, and an angry Tsunade turned around to leave? Isn't your fear of blood still getting better? How do you do it? Orochimaru's friendly reminder. Don't forget what I am. There are many ways to kill someone without seeing blood. I want Sarutobi Hiruzen to know what it costs to be a person. Maybe they are all dead. Now they rely on Konoha to hardly suppress the Thousand Clan. They said, why? Give trash to the old lady. With a punch to the yard door, Tsunade walked out. Endless. Kenpachi smiled slightly. Isn't this work a legacy of his failure? Now the Sarutobi clan is still alive, including Sarutobi Hiruzen, a total of 3 people. Sarutobi Asuma, Sarutobi Konohamaru and Sarutobi Hiruzen. It seems that the furious Tsunade intends to make Sarutobi truly understand what it means to be alone. Let her make trouble. The Chunin exam is about to begin. I'm really looking forward to Konoha's other means. If it were impure world reincarnation alone, then the final stage would not be left to him. Time goes by. More and more ninjas came to Konoha as they came to various ninja villages in the ninja world, the first in this legend. Shinobu became more heated. However, due to the large number of people, and Konoha's staff is not very rich, there will always be conflicts when the hostile ninja village meets. Of course, they are all small-scale frictions, which did not cause major panic. But it is enough to make Konoha village more chaotic. Just the day before Chunin's exam, a shocking news broke into people's ears. Konoha's son of 3rd Hokage, Sarutobi Asi, who was taken to the hospital by the village of Jianian. Ma died at Konoha Hospital died suddenly. No one knows what the specific cause of death is, but the first suspected target is where Kenpachi is. Jianian village. As the news came, Konoha became even more confused. People with mixed emotions took the first written examination of Chunin. Are you Uchiha Sasuke? I heard that you were called a genius before you left Konoha, and my goal is to surpass genius. Become a hard-working genius, please enlighten me. A familiar scene came. When Uchiha Sasuke, Hyuga Neji and Hinata wanted to go to the examination room, they were all dressed in green tights. The boy with a watermelon head blocked his way. This is one of Konoha's 12 Shaoqiang plays in the original work, Shao Li's first contest against Sasuke. I heard Master talk about you. Sasuke looked at each other calmly. A genius who has opened a door every 3 years is really rare. There are people in this world who believe that hard work can accomplish their dreams. But the reality is cruel. Who has Shao Li surpassed? He did work very hard, but it was far from enough. Naruto world is for daddy ordinary people are poor, and in the end, even relying on 8 inner gates, they can only explode with brilliance. But that foot is destined to be remembered. Genius of physical skills. Might Guy is, Shao Li is not. However, Master also said that we must give enough respect to everyone who works hard. Walking towards Shao Li step by step, Sasuke took a deep breath and saluted. Hey, Sasuke, the exam will start right away, hurry up. Neji hugged his shoulders and shouted at Sasuke. Wait a minute, it won't take long. Sasuke nodded and moved on. The soul belonging to Indra in Sasuke's body has been completely annihilated by Kenpachi, leaving the 2 sons. Jay became more of his own. But unlike the distorted character in the original book, and the thought of not wanting to pretend all the time, after all, Kenpachi took over and educates him since he was a child, making his aggressiveness even more high-end. In other words, although he is not pretending to be forced, the feeling that others look at him is that he is pretending to be strange and real. For example, now, Sasuke has naturally agreed to someone's invitation, but he can talk to Neji later. One sentence will not last long, that is to say, he never thinks that Shao Li has brought him thousands of threats. Seeing that you use physical skills, in order to ensure fairness, so I don't need a knife. After all, if I use a knife, it will still be too stressful for you. Because you also know that my master is the man with the strongest swordsmanship in the world. Pushing Zanpakuto into the ground with one hand, Sasuke said to Shao Li humbly. Neji Nissan, he pretended to be forced again. Hinata sighed faintly. Bad? Introverted? That's not Hinata's character, and it's something that can be corrected, like Hinata's sex. Son, after taking the initiative to sleep with Kenpachi in order to exercise his personality a few years ago, he seldom blushes. But still can't get used to Sasuke's pretending appearance. I guess that watermelon head will be angry. Neji rubbed his temple and said you said that you don't need a knife to ensure fairness, but you really look down on the opponent's provocation, right? Thank you. You are such a good person, but it makes Neji's dumb things go wrong. Such a strong sense of humiliation made the tight-clothed boy grateful. Damn, who is Konoha? With a slap on the head, Neji was completely defeated. Finally, the battle began. Unlike the plot in the original book, it was Shao Li who took the initiative to attack this time. Leaf Hurricane. Boom with a kick at Sasuke, Shao Li's body suddenly stopped in the air. Looking intently, I saw that his calf was strangely grabbed by Sasuke with one hand. Good strength. It seems that the master's affirmation of the disciple, Sasuke nodded with a smile on his face. The power is so strong. Shao Li in the air struggled hard, seeming to want to break the barrier between genius and normal people and bondage. Unfortunately, no matter how hard he tried, he still couldn't change the result. Completely beheaded the soul of Indra, but the remaining chakra lurked in the body and did not wake up, but it still gave Sasuke a leap in strength. In addition, the physical fitness after Hollow has far surpassed the physical skills used to train oneself from childhood to adulthood. Ninja Shao Li. The gap between genius and talent. It is not something that can be smoothed down by hard work. That classmate, can you let go of my disciple? Just as Sasuke's hands gradually tightened and Shao Li's face became more painful, another tights. The man appeared, and his hand just squeezed the hand that helped hold Shao Li's ankle. If you increase your strength a little bit, I will definitely abolish your disciple. This guy has a lot of strength. Glancing at his wrist, Sasuke said calmly. It seems that he is here to end the fight, but in fact, he is threatening himself. If he doesn't let go, he will abolish his hand. He is my cherished subordinate, and I won't let it go wrong with that kind of thing. Gaba. A crisp sound interrupted Might Guy's words directly. Now, do you think I can smash his foot before you squeeze my hand? This is just a little bit of force. If I put on a little bit more force, his kick will really be useless. Sasuke said calmly. What's the matter with this boy? Doesn't he feel pain? Guy's eyes were a little flustered, and he finally let go of Sasuke. The other party was telling the truth, if it's true. If you continue, his subordinates won't have to ask for it. According to the thinking of a normal person, he holds the other's hand like this and keeps exerting force. Others are. The ones that don't need strength are right, but this boy has stepped up his efforts? Why on earth? Don't think about us in ordinary people's way of thinking. Because you can never imagine what kind of suffering you experience during hollow, physical pain. Never surpass the pain of the soul. Calmly let go of Xiao Li. Sasuke glanced at the traces on his hand, and he recovered in just a few seconds. And there is something understandable called high-speed regeneration. Even if you chop off my hand, it's no big deal. Of course, you shouldn't look at me with this look, because he actively challenged me from beginning to end, and I am innocent as the challenged person. So next time, wait until your cherished subordinate is slightly stronger before releasing it. Thank you. Nodded to Guy, who was holding Xiao Li. Sasuke turned and left. In the distance, Hinata and Neji were waving at him. For them, Xiao Li's challenge is just an episode. Uchiha Sasuke, strong and terrible, looking at his disciple in silence, Guy sighed. It is not that he does not want to stop Xiao Li's behavior. Only this time, with the mission of 3rd Hokage Sarutobi Hiruzen. Speaking of which, in this issue of Genin, Xiao Li's strength is definitely the top ranking. It is also because this is the task assigned by the 3rd generation, so Guy does not have Xiao Li. But the result seems to be a bit heavy. Uchiha Sasuke, as that man's disciple, is a little too strong. Not to mention Xiao Li, even if he himself did not turn on the 8 inner gates, it seemed that it would be difficult for him to compete with each other in terms of strength. From this point of view, Genin Village's ability to teach talents has surpassed Konoha. Genius. Shaking his head, Guy left the passage holding Xiao Li. The written exam for Chunin is boring. This is true for the people in Genin Village. In Genin Village, I have never abandoned my companions. Of course, if you are a traitor, it is another matter. Therefore, no one in Genin Village failed the written test this time. Passed the written exam, followed by the second exam in the Dead Forest. Unlike the rhythm in the original book, the people from the 5 ninja villages hesitate to participate this time. Even if the Death Forest seems flat, it seems a bit crowded. When the number of people is intensive, the number and frequency of battles will also increase. So, this will be a real bloody purgatory. Aren't you afraid that the old Sarutobi is playing tricks in the Death Forest to deal with Genin in your village? It is totally different from the tension in the forest. Kenpachi's former home is still very comfortable. After leaving Asuma full of pain, Tsunade was in a good mood and was in the yard with Kenpachi. There was Wang Zhao's chatting without a word. I can't handle them. Kenpachi said calmly. What is Konoha now against Genin Village? Dirty soil turned cattle? To Shinobu of Genin Village, those things were nothing more than pediatrics. Don't use Genin from another Shinobu village to measure the fighting power of Genin in Genin Village. Can you become a Genin after graduating from a ninja school? Free body technique can be a ninja by throwing a few shurikens? What a joke. Ninja, that's a career that licks blood. Haven't tasted the taste of blood, how can you call yourself a ninja? But speaking of blood, Kenpachi stroked his chin and looked at Tsunade. He always has a question. Does Panacemia feel uncomfortable with my own blood? There is no doubt that Tsunade is a woman, it's a female, so it belongs to every month. Well, do you also feel fear of your own blood? Walking up to Tsunade step by step, Kenpachi showed his curious baby's gaze. What do you want to say? Tsunade squinted his eyes, always feeling that this topic was extremely dangerous. But when Kenpachi wanted to try it, in the distance, a violent chakra wave caught his attention. Closing his eyes, he discovered something interesting in just a moment. Danzo actually started the plan ahead of time? Interesting. Touching his chin, Kenpachi grabbed Tsunade's hand. Go and see your grandfather, the so-called ninja god. Are you, Danzo, somewhere in the end of the Dead Forest? The coffin has disappeared, and the man who was resurrected in the posture of turning the ox from the dirty soil looked at the old man in front of him suspiciously. Somewhat dumbfounded. It's finally here. The Konoha revival plan, begin. Danzo with frenzied eyes waved his hand and shouted his slogan. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 249 Impure World Reincarnation, Senju brother stunned. Konoha revival plan. Senju Hashirama was lost in thought, looking at the old man with a fanatical face in front of him. Just resurrected, he has not yet adapted to this extremely unreal body, but Senju Tobarama, the man next to him, saw at a glance what this resurrection technique was. Does the dirt turn? Danzo, do you know what you are doing? Looking sharply at his disciple, Konoha's second Hokage, the rumored first speed ninja, was a little disappointed. This technique was developed and used to resurrect the dead and was put in the Book of Seals by his elder brother just after it started. Unexpectedly, it was eventually researched out, and it was his apprentice who did this kind of thing. Some unacceptable, but Senju Tobirama wanted to know what happened that made Danzo do this kind of thing. Specifically, let me talk about it. A figure fell behind. Sarutobi Hiruzen has completely gray hair, telling what happened to this man. The feeling of losing his son in old age made him almost devastated. But after all, the Sarutobi clan still has a Sarutobi Konohamaru, which is not considered as an extinguished incense. Of course, the killing plan for that little devil has not been implemented yet, and all of Sarutobi's things are about to disappear, but he doesn't know it. Monkey? You better explain to me. Senju Tobirama clenched his fist, and the last thing he wanted to see finally happened. If Danzo will use Impure World reincarnation to resurrect himself and his eldest brother by any means because of something, it still makes sense. After all, as Danzo's teacher, he understands what kind of person Danzo is. So even if he gave a few people a test before he finally died, Danzo would never make him a Naruto. But how can Sarutobi Hiruzen, the person who has always been a good candidate for Naruto, the will of fire, do such a thing? So, he wanted to know what happened to Konoha now. Speaking of which, you are preparing for the sacrifice of turning the ox from the dirty soil, you should use my cells. Senju Hashirama touched his chin. The restraint is good, and it can also improve the combat effectiveness of the resurrected person. Big brother, wait a while, I'm questioning. Tobirama stopped Senju Hashirama's idea of continuing to study the body and looked at Sarutobi again. He needs a reasonable 237 explanation. Teacher, if I can, I don't want to blaspheme the souls of you and Master First Generation. Shaking his head, Sarutobi Hiruzen let out a long sigh. The old tears flowed out in an instant. It looked like an old drama. But now Konoha has reached the point of life and death. If the two of you were not presiding over the overall situation, Konoha would not be able to sustain Konoha by relying on me, the disciple who has already been annihilated. Time for life and death. When Sarutobi said this, first generation and second generation looked at each other. Their expressions became completely solemn. Even Senju Hashirama showed a serious expression. What happened? You speak slowly. Frowning, Senju Tobirama continued. He couldn't figure it out. Nothing else. According to the analysis of the monkey's age, this should be decades after his death. But he can guarantee that with the foundation that he and his elder brother have worked hard to lay there, Konoha will be able to prosper even after 100 years of tossing. If you want to describe it by rank, Konoha is still the strongest king after the death of first generation and second generation. But what makes the king completely reduced to black iron? He is curious. The matter will start with the Third Ninja World War after the death of the two. At that time, Konoha was besieged by the 4 shinobu villages, but the disciple did not humiliate his mission, and after all, he persisted. But the disciple never expected that the threat to Konoha did not come from the outside, but from the inside. After a pause, Sarutobi Hiruzen showed a compassionate expression. It was Danzo who was next to him spurting old blood. Nothing else, this guy is much smarter than he expected. He actually bypassed the Second Ninja World War and went straight into the Third Ninja World War. You must know that the Second Ninja World War Konoha also made a lot of things. For example, those ninjas of the Senju clan who were integrated into the village were forcibly dispatched to the battlefield and then put on the list of deaths. Another example is that the direct seedlings of the Senju clan, the grandsons of first generation and second generation, were also sent to the battlefield to die, resulting in the current possession. There are very few people of Senju blood, and even the pure blood is only Tsunade. Of course, the Uzumaki clan was destroyed, and Sarutobi Hiruzen did not mention it. Well, after all, the two people in front of me are from the Senju clan. It's much more convenient to just say the Third Ninja War. Namikaze Minato, who performed well in the Third Ninja War, was appointed as the fourth Hokage by his disciple. Teacher, you know, his disciple is a person who is indifferent to fame and fortune. Fart. Danzo cursed in his heart. But Konoha did not become decadent because of the Third Ninja War. Instead, many geniuses appeared. Among them, Uchiha Itachi of the Uchiha clan and a civilian ninja were the most dazzling. It's finally the climax part. Danzo squinted his eyes, and the next thing is the main event, making the two Hokage completely resent Kenpachi. In this regard, his old partner Sarutobi Hiruzen has prepared a lot of shit pots. You just said the genius of the Uchiha clan. The sensitive second Hokage frowned and interrupted Sarutobi. The enchantment of people will definitely become the second Uchiha Kagami in the future. If it's not for being a genius, yes, but the teacher doesn't have to worry, this Uchiha Kagami. This is the person second generation is familiar with. Although he was born in Uchiha, his heart belongs to Konoha, and his existence allows second generation to smoothly suppress the Uchiha clan. But, you just said, what does it mean to be bewitched? If the Uchiha clan can be developed into Uchiha Kagami, it's not unacceptable. But bewitched. Speaking of him, I have to mention another civilian ninja. The disciple admitted that I underestimated him before. Sarutobi looked solemn. Originally, As a seedling who hopes to become a great ninja, his disciples are extremely optimistic about him. But I didn't know that he had colluded with my disciple, Konoha's rebellion. Orochimaru, who had been conducting human experiments, had been in collusion. One day, Orochimaru chose to defect, and the disciple naturally wanted to bring him over for interrogation. Some problems. But I didn't expect the disciple's actions to completely stimulate the demon. Demon. Is Sarutobi Hiruzen judged as a demon civilian genius? Tobirama had doubts on his face. The so-called civilians are ordinary people without any blood, and this world is doomed to the upper limit of ordinary people. Senju Tobirama, who has done a lot of research, understands this very well. Just by looking at how strong the Senju and Uchiha clan during the Sengoku period are, you can understand the gap between commoners and clans. First of all, the demon agitated the Uchiha people who could have developed into Uchiha Kagami to fight Konoha. Secondly, in the process of interrogating him, he suddenly violent, and eventually defeated 4th Hokage and left a hidden wound, which also led to the death of 4th Hokage. But it's not over yet. In the process of escaping, he killed hundreds of Anbu ninjas with his own power, and finally escaped from Konoha and became a rebel. Orochimaru, who left Konoha first, was finally established. Jonyan Village. At that time, he was only 8 years old. Jonyan Village. It's another Moe's name. But Senju Tobirama and Senju Hashirama are shocked by the strong combat power of each other. A civilian ninja can kill hundreds of Anbu ninjas at only 8 years old. What a joke. But if you feel that seed, the story in him is over here, you are still a little too optimistic. With serious eyes, Sarutobi Hiruzen spoke again. In the same month, he joined Cloud Shinobi Village to launch an attack on Konoha, and even incited the entire Hyuga clan to betray Konoha and join Jonyan Village. That time, Konoha suffered a heavy loss, and he almost wiped out the village by himself. 3 years later, he made a comeback, using the Uchiha clan that he first used. Let the entire Uchiha clan conduct a coup, fight Konoha overnight and finally leave. Quote. And many more. When I interrupt Sarutobi again, Senju Hashirama is dumbfounded. You mean, he almost killed Konoha alone? What do you mean? Also, why could he take away the Hyuga and Uchiha clan? Why are those two clans like? Believe him. A lie is a lie after all. Senju Hashirama's instinct is definitely not right, but I can't say exactly where it is. There is something wrong. Because whether it's taking Hyuga or Uchiha away, it seems a bit unnatural. You know that they are the ancient members who formed Konoha since the Sengoku period. Uchiha argued that toxin. But the family completely betrayed Konoha and joined another shinobu village. This is somewhat unreal. This is true, sir. Danzo sighed next to him. And in contrast to these, 4th Hokage died in the Nine Tails chaos. But afterwards, it was found out that he was also in contact with the person who started the Nine Tails chaos. Moreover, when Nine Tails went violently, he came again, Shimura who killed his disciple once again. Of course, I know you doubt that man's combat effectiveness, but the facts are right in front of you. There is also the Sarutobi clan where Sarutobi belongs, and that man killed Sarutobi Hiruzen's last son not long ago. Individuals do not rely on physical skills or ninjutsu, and can chop Konoha with a knife. The Konoha you see will be damaged by him from time to time. A beam of destruction is emitted. You are now. None of us is his opponent, he can even use his sword. But now, Yi Kenpachi seems to be tired of playing with him, taking advantage of Konoha's Chunin exam with him. The people from Jonyan village also joined in. According to reliable sources, he will completely destroy Konoha this time, and rely on us to deal with.
No matter what, this will bring you and Lord Second Hokage back to life. Disciple, it's absolutely not forbidden. Wiping the corner of his eyes sadly, Danzo trembled all over, as if he felt his weakness for his own weakness. The amount of information is a bit big. Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobirama looked at each other and fell silent. Other things can be ignored, and you don't even need to ask too carefully, such as the 4th generation, such as Force. Oh no, rebellion, such as the 3rd Ninja World War, can be ignored. But right now, a very tricky thing is approaching. An unprecedented powerful enemy, Knight Kenpachi? Who is he? Why is it that Konoha is born, but Konoha is to be destroyed? The most elusive thing is his horror fighting capacity. If what Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo say is true, that man has a man to destroy one. The strength of Ninja Village, then why do you have to take the Chunin exam instead of directly attacking?
This is confusing. Hand Hashirama. If everything is true, Konoha has indeed reached the moment of life and death. Senju Hashirama touched his chin. But Danzo, I am more concerned about the Konoha revival plan you just mentioned. What does it mean? Naturally rely on the power of you two to bring Konoha back to the top. Danzo said calmly, this time the Chunin exam, because of Jonyan Village's participation, the other 4 ninja villages who are curious about Jonyan Village's fighting power also led them to Konoha. Of course, it should be to watch Konoha's jokes. My revival plan is to let you and Master 2nd generation guarantee Konoha's face while deterring other shinobu villages. It's best to let those who don't know how to write the power to smash it and know that Konoha is still over, and it's lying in Konoha. Foot. Hegemonism. First generation frowned. I know what you want to say, but in fact, the Wairu policy is no longer suitable for the current world of tolerance.
The mutual understanding you said broke down by the way after you died. The First Ninja World War, the Second Ninja World War, the Third Ninja World War, the establishment of Ninja Village not only did not let the war quell, it even improved the level of the war, every time it was tens of thousands. The death of people. From this, it is enough to see that the mutual understanding you advocate to achieve peace is nothing but empty talk. What this said, Hashirama was a little embarrassed. Fly up. But he seemed unable to refute this. At the first Five Shadows meeting, everyone agreed to peace. But after he died, he immediately started the Second Ninja World War. Enough to slap your face. Glancing at Tobirama, Hashirama asked with his eyes, only to see his brother nodded. Is it true? Also, it's about Jonyan Village. They even broke the pattern of one country and one village, and merged all the surrounding countries with tough methods. Home, even let the daimyo disappear from that country, let shinobu directly manage the country. Quote. They are the real hegemony. After speaking in one breath, Danzo's eyes were hot. He also yearns for this kind of hegemony. Bang bang bang. Just as what he said was rising, behind the forest, the sound of slapped hands made everyone look. Change. It seems that there is only one person who can break through the barrier so quietly. Tuaner, you said nothing wrong. Jonyan Village is hegemony. That man is coming. Thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 250 Madara, Hashirama, Kenpachi. Originally, I thought you could make something new to me. It's a pity, maybe in your hearts, the so-called dirty transformation is the ultimate assassin. It's dull and tasteless. Step by step onto the court, Kenpachi sighed slightly. Sometimes too much expectation, but there is a sense of gap. Everything was under control. In the end, it didn't bring about the superiority of strategizing, but only the loneliness brought about by being in a high position. Just like the current struggle of Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo.
The impure world reincarnation they relied on was the one that was too lazy to set up weapons at the beginning. Forbidden technique, abandoned by Geenian Village, is now coming to deal with Geenian Village? It's a little funny to think about it. Master First Generation, Master Second Generation, he is Yi Kenpachi. The ultimate demon who tried to destroy Konoha, no, even tried to bring the entire ninja world to darkness. Seeing Kenpachi, Sarutobi Hiruzen shouted like a madman. Of course, it's not very appropriate to describe it as a lunatic. Now Sarutobi is completely mad. Since the Sarutobi clan was destroyed, even in Hokage's position, he has inevitably been lonely, especially now that his only son is also dead. The kind of anger from the heart is powerless, and he has been held back. Yi Kenpachi? First Generation looked at Kenpachi curiously, a little strange. He didn't feel the endless pressure from this man. Is your breath restrained? It's not easy. But the other party's age, can he really achieve this point? The old man asks you, is everything Sarutobi said just now true? Second Generation looked solemn and said in a questioning tone. This is the tone again. Kenpachi frowned and shook his neck. How the figure disappeared in a flash. At the next moment, he had pinched Senju Tobirama's neck with one hand. Unable to move. What did you send? The opponent's speed turned out to be faster than him. And just being pinched by the neck, the whole body can't move, why? Raised in the air by Kenpachi, Senju Tobirama's eyes were horrified and incredulous. Although it is the body of impure world reincarnation, he instinctively feels that if Kenpachi does it now, he will definitely die miserably. I am not guilty of ignorant people. But your granddaughter is my ally, if I kill her second grandfather directly in front of her. It seems very exciting. With a cruel smile, Kenpachi's hand gradually tightened. Originally, the body of impure world reincarnation didn't belong to him, so he couldn't feel the pain even if he was attacked, but when Kenpachi's hand was attached to Ryotsu, the spirit that belonged to the body of impure world reincarnation was defending. Need the pain of the soul. What? Senju Tobirama couldn't help letting out a scream from the pain he had never felt before. It's not that his willpower is not firm, but that this pain is completely different from physical pain. Even if Yukage of Cloud Shinobi Village is cut off by Zanpakuto's arm, it hurts. That boy, please stop for a while, and, shao soon. I don't think it makes any sense for you to read it anymore. If you can, come out and tell the grandfather what is going on. I stopped Kenpachi a bit, but Senju Hashirama's eyes looked in the direction Kenpachi had walked out. From the very beginning, he felt a familiar breath. But he was somewhat unable to confirm. If this man is a wicked person, why does his granddaughter not have that kind of disgust, but act with him instead? This doesn't make sense. So Senju Hashirama concluded that there must be some problems. Grandpa. Walking out from behind the tree, Tsunade's face was tear-stained. I used to dream of meeting the grandfather, but now it seems a bit unacceptable regardless of the time or place. But after all, people have to face the reality. Just listening to what Sarutobi Hiruzen said just now, Tsunade wanted to rush up and give him 2 slaps. Tsunade is here too, the situation is wrong. Danzo and Sarutobi looked at each other. The former nodded and said that there was no problem.
Is the truth really that important? Obviously not. Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobarama are both bodies of impure world reincarnation. As long as he is blessed by the technique, he has absolute control. Xiao Gang, talk to Grandpa, what the hell is going on? Walking up to his granddaughter step by step, the ninja god's fluctuating IQ became stable. Of course, if it were before, he might have already started with the Kenpachi. But now it's different. Ashura's soul has completely disappeared. Even if the resurrected Ashura is reincarnated, it doesn't need to be affected in any way. Therefore, Senju Hashirama suddenly felt a lot more relaxed, and found that there was something wrong with what Seping had done before. For example, at the first Five Shadows meeting, he actually wanted to give the tail beast to other shinobu villages. It's really naive to think about it now. This kind of thought came up suddenly, very strange. Grandpa second. Tsunade looked lonely. Whether you can accept it or not, there is a fact that you have the right to know. The clansmen who have integrated into Konoha are still inherited by the second grandfather, and only myself is left. That is now, the entire ninja world. The Senju clan no longer exists, no matter if it is you. Senju has disappeared. At this moment, Senju Hashirama and Senju Tobarama were completely stunned. They didn't understand why Senju, who was strong enough to suppress the Uchiha clan and established Shinobu village, disappeared and only his granddaughter was left. Not only the Senju clan, but also the Uzumaki clan, where Mito's grandma was located, were also destroyed. With hatred on Tsunade's face, he looked at Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo. And the culprit is the two of them. Do you know why he directly mentioned the Third Ninja War? Because both the Senju and Uzumaki clan disappeared in the Second Ninja War? Avoid the point and say something insignificant to cover up the facts, as if they tried to pour dirty water on Kenpachi. The truth of the matter is not what he said. Whether it is the Uchiha clan, the Hyuga clan, or the Yi Kenpachi, they did not intend to leave Konoha at first. After a pause, Tsunade took a deep breath. The Hyuga clan was given to Cloud Shinobi village as a gift by Konoha, and also acted as a decoy role to lure Raikage to attack. If it were not for Yi Kenpachi, I am afraid that none of them would die. For a short time peace, Sarutobi has no bottom line. The Uchiha clan is even more ridiculous. Everywhere is targeted. People have never rewarded for their contributions on the battlefield. They have even forced the Uchiha clan to move to the clan for many times. In the end, if you don't resist, you will die. Grandpa, second grandpa, this is you. The disciples taught. At the moment of death, even if it was the Senju clan at that time, they would resist. This is the disciple you taught. Loosing the hand holding Senju Tobarama's neck, Kenpachi threw him to the ground and kicked him on the back. Well, you specified the Uchiha clan in the first place. For example, Konoha guards, so that Uchiha can't gain popular support and so on. Uchiha guards. Senju Tobarama snorted coldly. That clan will cause problems after all, and it has to be so for Konoha's stability. Shit. Kenpachi stepped on Senju Tobarama's face with disdain. To put it bluntly, it's not that you don't trust each other. From the beginning, you didn't regard them as part of Konoha, except for those of the Uchiha clan who were willing to lick Konoha. Besides, no one else can look at it with normal eyes. Tell you the simplest example. For example, if you oppose Uchiha Madara becoming Hokage, isn't it you? How do you know that after he becomes Hokage, Konoha will be destroyed? You are not a member of the Uchiha clan, so why do you lie about that clan's own affairs? All in all, the current Uchiha clan is very safe under me. Conquered Uchiha? Senju Tobarama obviously didn't believe it. Aren't you afraid that they will rebel and launch the same coup as Konoha? It's bullshit again. You are afraid of a coup or something. As a superior, did you worry about your subordinates being too strong to resist yourself? Then why don't you think about it on your own? If you are strong enough, why should they resist? Click. With a snap of his fingers, the surrounding barrier instantly shattered. Then, the Hyuga clan and Uchiha clan, together with Orochimaru and others, slowly appeared on both sides. Obviously, from the beginning, they lurked around with some means of hiding themselves. Naruto-sama, you just said that Uchiha is a traitor? Do you want to point your face? If it weren't for our Uchiha clan desperately resisting Cloud Shinobi village in the late stage of the Third Ninja World War, would Konoha who had spent more than 50% of their lives still alive? But after we returned to the village, not only did we not have any rewards, we even forced our clan to move to remote areas, and our Uchiha clan's dead heroes were not allowed to engrave the memorial monument. Why? Fugaku took the lead, pointing to Sarutobi Hiruzen's nose and spraying. Sarutobi-sama, you really dared to take the Hyuga clan as an example. Thanks to you, our Hyuga clan was betrayed by our own village that night, so that Genbu and Enbu people surrounded the clan land, watching us being killed by Cloud Shinobi's people, and now you give it back to us and engrave the label of a traitor? But don't forget one thing, when we leave Konoha, we will return all the ninja forehead protector to you. Hyuga Hiyashi looked relaxed. According to the ancestral instructions left by the ancestors of Tenon, it is clear that Konoha was established by a combination of multiple families. If one day this place cannot stay in this place, the Hyuga family has the right to leave Konoha. Since then it has nothing to do with Konoha. I remember that when Senju Hashirama became first Hokage. Then, why do you characterize the Hyuga clan as a traitor? One after another questioning, Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo's face turned pale. They had no idea that the scene they had just acted in was seen clean. Even in the presence of these parties, some unpredictable things were arranged. What a ridiculous scene. Kenpachi was a little emotional. From the beginning of this scene, the identities of the actors and the audience have been determined. He was just curious about how Sarutobi would suffer. The truth? Senju Hashirama let out a long sigh, and he finally understood what was posted. Tobarama, it seems that you handed Konoha to Sarutobi, which is a bit wrong. Is it wrong? Brother, you don't know, at that time Konoha had no one else to trust except Sarutobi. So many things. No, Hashirama, what do you want me to say? Establishing Shinobu Village is the worst choice. Something wrong is outrageous. But when the audience was silent, a voice came slowly in the air. Hashirama was a little stunned when he heard the sound at first, but after a few seconds when he saw it falling from the sky. The two of them opened their eyes completely. Uchiha Madara. He was turned around by the dirty soil. Are you all here? Kenpachi smiled slightly. Senju Hashirama. Uchiha Madara, these two prosperous powerhouses in the Sengoku period. Today we met again in Konoha. Although, they stood together in the posture of turning dirty. The establishment of Shinobu Village has escalated the war, and unfair treatment is also bad for Uchiha. The final resistance is also a logical thing. So if I knew this, why bother to build Ninja Village? Perhaps the concept of Ninja Village is okay, but you, Hashirama, always feel that you have established the Ninja Village dream. I was finished thinking about it, but the facts proved that it was far from good. No matter what you said about mutual understanding to achieve peace, or I insist on peace by force, under this premise. Both require a condition. That is, unity. After finishing speaking in one breath, Madara's gaze was inadvertently looking towards Yi. Kenpachi suddenly had some appreciation in his eyes. Walked over. Then he patted Kenpachi on the shoulder in front of everyone. You were very good, so let's go with me. Puff in a word, Kenpachi almost made a laugh. Hey, you kid, talk to our leader and show respect. You deserve it too. Damn, don't pee and see what your own virtues are. At the same time, Kenpachi's subordinates in Jienian village made crazy output against Madara. With one hand, the man stopped the behavior of his subordinates and then looked at each other. Mixed with you? Why? Madara smiled slightly and pointed to herself. Just because I am Uchiha Madara, boom boom. As soon as the voice fell, Kenpachi's fist slammed Madara's face. In his bewildered gaze, the body that was supposed to be smashed from the dirty soil turned into a cow, unexpectedly flew out and smashed into the nearby woods. The violent shaking for only a moment caused everyone to fall into horror. No matter when it is, as long as the leader takes the shot, it will always shock people. Fugaku arched his hands in admiration. Control Impure World Reincarnation not to crush, and then hit the soul in the body of Impure World Reincarnation with fists and headaches, so that the opponent will feel the pain while not dying. This kind of control technique can only be done by the leader. Orochimaru slapped his face and said he was embarrassed. For a long time, when Madara came back trembling, his face had completely changed. At this moment, the aura between Madara, Hashirama and Yi Kenpachi changed slightly. Superior thank you for reading this story at mtlarchive.com. Your support enables us to keep the site running. Chapter 251 Master 3rd Generation, have you tasted the taste of expired milk? Three people belong to two eras, Uchiha Madara and Senju Hashirama, the strongest two in the Sengoku period. And Yi Kenpachi is the representative of this era, recognized as the first person in the ninja world. The first two founded Konoha, bringing the disputed Sengoku to an end, but intensified the level of the war, and the number of casualties soared. They proved their mistakes with actual actions. Senju Hashirama was relieved of the result, and entrusted his beliefs to the younger generations. Let the younger generations find ways to find a way of mutual understanding and peace, and believe that the younger generations can find the real way. And Uchiha Madara is the opposite of Senju Hashirama. He only believes in himself, thinking that what he sees and hears is correct. Relying on resurrecting oneself, continuing one's own life and carrying out one's own path, using infinite Tsukuyomi to save the world. This idea has penetrated into the soul and cannot be changed. What is even more different from the two of them is that Yi Kenpachi wants to unify this chaotic and wrong ninja world and establish a complete order belonging to the ninja world. Three completely different paths, in the final analysis, what they expect is the same result. That is, I don't want more disasters to erupt in this world. All three have their own reasons. Senju Hashirama and Uchiha Madara have witnessed the cruelty of war, and Kenpachi is tired of this kind of intrigue. Everyone seems to have something they want to protect, but in fact they're making mistakes. Change is necessary. Now, I really want to talk to you. Listening to Obito said a lot about you. I found that you are very similar to me before. Madara, who walked back, wondered about Kenpachi's power on one side, but didn't have her own appreciation on the other. With force, 4-5 zeros, unify the world. This idea is indeed what Madara wanted to do before. However, Senju Hashirama did not cooperate, and even hesitated to bow to other ninja villages in exchange for a brief peace. The consequence was that the first ninja war was launched instantly after his death. In that war, 5 ninja villages died and 3 shadows died. The tragic degree can be seen in Madara, Nanheshwan. That place is good. First generation took 2 steps forward and offered to offer. Obviously, he also wants to talk to these 2 people. Hey, have you forgotten something? Seeing these 3 people talk about their ideals in life, some people can't sit still. For example, Sarutobi Hiruzen, where all conspiracies are exposed to people, and Shimura Danzo. They were expecting a comeback with first Hokage and second Hokage, but in any case they didn't want the 3 of them to pull the distance suddenly. Really forgot something. Kenpachi realized it suddenly and pointed to the distance. The enchantment over there seems to have forgotten to withdraw. How could the open trial of your old dog miss them? Click. With a snap of my fingers, the scene not far away changed again. The next moment, the person who suddenly appeared in front of him made Sarutobi no longer able to calm down. If the person who appeared before was from Geanian village, and Sarutobi Hiruzen could only be wary, now he has torn off his last layer of cover. Hitaki Kakashi, Kurenai Yuhi, Might Guy. With 2 tied-up Naruto advisors, and a group of high-level Konoha, all the patriarchs of Konoha village are in place. Public execution. This is the highlight of today. What's the point of just killing Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo? What Kenpachi has to do is to let the entire Konoha people know that they are the 3rd Hokage. Hypocritical old man. Once second Hokage Senju Tobirama commented that Sarutobi is always so gentle and kind as the sun standing in the bright spot, while Danzo is the root hidden in the dark, full of darkness and cruelty. They will definitely thrive in Konoha. This evaluation is completely wrong. Let Kenpachi say that the 2 of them, one of them used to be indecisive and gentle, and started the pervert road after encountering misfortune. The other was acting entirely for his own benefit, saying everything was for Konoha, but in the end it was actually for Hokage. Location. Even if it is judged to be the most like Naruto, Senju Tobirama, the #1 speed in the ninja world, has only shortcomings, such as the attitude towards Uchiha. So this statement itself is wrong. When the covering was torn down, Konoha's villagers and shinobu discovered that the so-called high-rise building was so corrupt. For my own benefit, he will not hesitate to push all the faults to others. Is this Hokage? Looking at the people around, Sarutobi Hiruzen's face is green. They are here, which means that everything he said just now has also been heard by them. Since then, the decent image he cultivated has also completely collapsed. Unexpectedly, Sarutobi-sama is such a person. At this time, Naraluju was full of disappointment, and finally drove him to believe in Hokage, and the conditions for supporting Hokage disappeared. Although I knew it before, it was not so bright about Konoha's senior management. But when everything is laid out, reality is so unacceptable. Master Tsunade said only part of it. I have been investigating the cause of my father's death for these years. Kakashi took a step forward. The dead fisheye that was usually exposed is now full of anger. It is not the rumors of the stupid villagers in Konoha village who really killed him, but you too. What, Lord Shuamao is because of the high level? Akamichi Dingza looked at Kakashi blankly. At this point, Kakashi has no need to lie. The Senju family, the Hyuga family, the Uchiha family. It's terrible to think about it. Their experience may be confirmed to Ino Shikacho soon. Yamanaka gave a wry smile and shook his head. Although your personality has become ancient after the Nine Tails chaos, and sometimes you do things that are completely confusing, but I thought it was brought about by the destruction of the family. Negative impact. Unexpectedly, it was just a leak of nature. Hypocrisy, ignorance, the foundations of first generation and second generation have become like this in his hands. It is not unjustified. No wonder Master fourth generation often sighed alone after becoming Hokage, saying that the status quo cannot be changed. Even as Hokage, he can only do his own thing. It turns out that you are the culprit. Accusations, anger, sighs. Now Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo have become public enemies of everyone in Konoha. But the real public executions have just begun. When a yellow-haired man fell from the sky and walked towards Sarutobi Rickson step by step, everyone fell silent. Familiar person. The man who gave the precious lives of himself and his wife for Konoha. Namikaze Minato, is he still alive? People wiped their eyes and looked at him incredulously. I know you have a lot of doubts, but there is only one sentence I can tell you. Fourth Hokage Namikaze Minato, who wouldn't hesitate even if he gave his life for Konoha's death, is dead, and the one who lives now is the father who just wants to ask for an explanation for his son. Fourth Hokage is dead. The only thing alive is the father who wants to ask his son for an explanation. Some people around can understand how heavy these words are, but some can't. Those who experience it all know the true identity of Naruto, but what can't be experienced is that some people can't understand why Minato's attitude has changed so much over the years. However, no one came up to stop him from approaching Sarutobi Hiruzen. Minato, listen to me explain. Suddenly seeing people who have been dead for a long time suddenly come, Sarutobi was a little shocked for a while, and suddenly wanted to defend himself without turning his head. Danzo, who was next to him, narrowed his eyes and thought of something. Konoha had 4 Hokage in total, and the 2 big killers he prepared naturally did not forget Namikaze Minato.